This is
So I've been following my doctor's orders, brother. He told me to keep my leg up, brother. And that's exactly what I've been doing, dude. So when I step in that steel cage, brother, tomorrow night, with the thousands of Hulkamaniacs in the arena behind me in Detroit, with the millions at home watching Halloween Havoc, as I'm limping towards the ring, as I'm dragging that leg, brother, I'm going to be dragging the whole generation of little Hulkamaniacs on my back. The ones that have trained, said their prayers, and eaten their vitamins.
In a hotel room with this, and all you can think about is spanking it. Let's whack it. Let's jack it all night long. But Hogan's got that bad leg. He's got that bad knee. But don't worry, because on Halloween night, remember the show Gunsmoke? He can wear some jeans, a cowboy hat, and he can be Chester. He can walk around. Mr. Dillon, Mr. Dillon, Mr. Dillon. Well, if you happen to tune in last Monday night, you see that Buff Daddy's got a little problem with the two new riders, the two new sheriffs from up north that are going to save WCW.
Well, you know what? This does remind me of the cigarette and Thomas Hunt's fight. And this is going to be a big fight. I'm looking forward to seeing the winner of this fight.
She has in her right hand, I understand, a bottle of the brand new WCW Nitro Cologne.
You ever smell that cologne?
Yes, I have.
Boy, that stinks.
And it's horrible. And she's going to come out here and...
Why would she be... That stuff is brutal. It smells like a rest stop on the highway.
Brother Brunei! Oh my God! He has butchered a friendship! That man has butchered a friendship! That's all! He's butchered! He's a backstabber!
Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting edition of The Lights Out as we enter our second annual Battle of the Halloween Havocs. That's right, we're battling Halloween Havoc 1999 versus 1994. We got WCW at its finest, or its lowest, whichever way you want to see it. J. Alison, James Kline. What's up, Alison? How do you feel about this second ever Battle of the Halloween Havocs?
Man, I am stoked for this. Last year it was so much fun.
Yes.
Doing this, and I think a lot of people liked it too. And so it is a competition, but last year we tied, I believe. So we didn't have a winner. So let's see if we tie this year. If one of us comes in, I thought for sure when you when you picked 99 and I picked 94, I thought for sure this would be a shoe-in for me. But after I watched this show, I am not 100% sure. So we'll see how this goes.
To find that out.
This show is not as good as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Overall.
Little rough for both of them, brother. But hey, you know what? This is the battle. You know what I mean? Like, I'm throwing at you my pick, you're throwing at your pick. You know what I mean? Like, we might think our picks might have been a little rough around the edges, but you know what? We have to defend it regardless. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because we're here to win, brother. That's what we do in the lights out battle, and we win.
Yeah, and we have no rules. And,
and
from the very first match between us, the two of us, I'm gonna throw all the rules out the window because we're gonna have a drag out fight. I think on the first match.
Yeah. See, what my plan is to Goldberg your ass. I'm gonna be the baby face, and I'm going to attack you before the match even started and bust you open, and I'm just gonna whip your ass at the end.
So, okay, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right,
we'll see what happens.
And then I just revealed the best part of my show, but all right, everything else is a little rough, brother. But but before we get into this battle, and I think right before we should actually battle it out, talking about the both shows, I do kind of want to cut a little promo, okay, of how I'm gonna battle you. But I do want to talk about some interesting stuff because it's very rare that we do like 90s stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm always like pretty, because we know, the retro blood, we talk about all these 80s stuff all the time. It's great. But 90s is a very fun era for both horror movies and music as well. Okay?
Yeah.
So I just want to talk a little bit about what was going on around the metal scene around our two pay-per-views we decided to talk about. And I found a couple interesting stuff. So I'll talk about like mine first. Okay? Well, maybe we should do yours because yours is 94. It happened before. So there was a couple cool stuff. So yours came out, your pay-per-view came out October 23rd, 1994. And it's funny because mine came out October 24th, 1999. So pretty close to each other. You know what I mean? A lot of parallels when it comes to these. Because we're only about, what, 5 years from each other? Yeah, 5 years, 5, 6, yeah, no way. Yeah, 5 years from each other. I almost couldn't do math there. But we're like 5 years from each other there. And there's a lot of parallels we'll talk about on the show. But I thought it was kind of interesting that a couple, some albums from 1994 came out. All right, so we have...
Yeah.
So we have Merciful Fate, that we talk about all the time on the Retro Blood. They came out with their album Time. Okay. And then, and then we had we had a where's the other one I found on here? Danzig came out with Danzig 4 on October 4th.
Yeah, Danzig 4.
All right, and a band that we saw. A band that we saw recently, Ron and Christ came out, and they had their album Non Servena. Hope I said that right. So, when I'm exploring 94, it looks like we got some decent albums. And, of course, the two most famous albums that came out this month and this year that I know you're going to want to talk about a little bit is the first one we have is Korn. And they released their album Korn. And Dream Theater released their album Awake.
Yeah, I remember when that Korn record came out. I don't like Korn at all, or any kind of new metal, but they were way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as new metal in 1994. So they kind of invented that in a way. Although I'll maintain even to this day that Korn is real metal. It's not new metal.
Yeah, I mean,
like
their
Korn
earlier
and the
stuff.
Deftones. Yeah, definitely. Like Korn and the Deftones. That's real metal, not like new metal. But yeah, I remember seeing that Korn video on. It's really weird what I thought about it at the time, because it was new. It's like this weird. Like I can remember watching it on MTV with my friend, and that video played, and I thought that they sounded like Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah.
Which is weird to think because they don't sound anything like Suicidal Tendencies. And I don't know why I thought that, but I'm like, oh, this is a band kind of like Suicidal Tendencies. So I don't know, it was weird. I didn't really. I remember even then I didn't really particularly like it, but it obviously hit a nerve with somebody, and it got really big. So the Korn would probably get really big by about 99, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Whenever they
were
released
playing
that
arenas around,
yeah, whenever they did the Adidas song.
Yeah, that might even have been on that first album. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not too familiar with Korn myself. I'm kind of like a new on that one. Like I never was a big fan of them, but I know they're like super popular with a lot of fans out there. And it's just kind of cool to see. You can see Hulk Hogan and the Cage Brother and then listen to some Korn.
Exactly. There's nothing better than that, right?
Yeah.
But I remember the Merciful Fate album. That was like the second album, I believe, after they got back together. Merciful Fate really wasn't around for very long originally. I think they did like 2 or 3 albums maybe in the early 80s, and then King Diamond went solo. Then they got back together in the early 90s. So they were apart for like 10 years or something. And I think that Time was the second album they did after they got back together.
Nice.
And then I think that they would do... Well, I can't really remember. I know that until they did that tour last fall, they haven't played. a show or done anything in like 10 or 20 years. So, 99 might have been the last. I don't know. It's been a long time. But but yeah, so they were back together. It was kind of interesting to see Merciful Fate get back together because that's a band that I didn't really think would get back together. Yeah. Iron Maiden was going through their dark era where they were either making music that was shitty or Bruce Dickinson left and then they got their new singer, and it was a dark time for metal in a lot of ways.
94?
But there was some, I would say so, yeah, because you got to consider that like it was a weird time because grunge was really dead by 94, 95. Grunge was pretty. It was starting to get to where not dead, but it was starting to get there was just so much of it. You know what I mean? Like it was just everywhere. Like there's so many bands,
kind of like the hair bands.
Yeah, and it got to where it was just everything sounded like that, and like there were all those bands like Days of the New and all those like rip-off grunge bands. So I think personally at this point I was starting to get sick of it. And I started listening to stuff like I believe in March of 94. This is getting way off topic now, but March of 94 is when Nine Inch Nails' Downward Spiral came out. And I remember getting it, and then like the next day after I got it, I went on a trip to New York City, and I took that with me and listened to it on my Walkman. Bought it on cassette and listened to it on my Walkman. Yeah, but yeah, so that would have been earlier in the year. So yeah, grunge was starting to get old at this point. There was just a lot, like every band sounded like that. Yeah. So I was starting to get, and that's why the Korn bands got big, was because it was not grunge, it was different.
Yeah, a little different.
Yeah, it was a little different. So yeah, grunge was definitely starting to get old at this point. Even Slayer was making music that wasn't very Slayer-like. I'm trying to think of something other than that Downward Spiral record that was good from 94. And I guess that Merciful Fate album was good. I can't really think of anything else, to be honest with you. So yeah, it was kind of a dark time for metal for sure.
So a time that actually, to me, since I was scrolling through this and I was surprised, a non-dark time for metal was actually in 1999, brother, of all the years. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see, because I would think that would be a really shitty year.
Yeah, me too.
That was about the time that new metal was starting to get huge.
Exactly.
To answer your question, that Adidas song is on their second album, which came out in 1997.
See, I told you. That's pretty much when they, like, I remember that to the T, is when Korn got famous, all I could see or hear was that fucking Adidas song everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that I'm pretty sure 97, 90, 98, 99, that's when they really started getting going. But it's pretty interesting seeing them coming out with that album in 94, though. So,
yeah, exactly. And so that was really early. They were really ahead of their time in a way. But yeah, when we get to talk about 99, I can definitely speak more about that and about my perception of what that time was like. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was like, let me name some of these albums, all right, and tell me what you think.
Because from 99 or 94?
No, this is from 1999, okay, October, where we had this fucking Halloween Havoc pay-per-view that I'm still confused about, okay? Here's what we'll be watching, brother, okay? So we have a band that I think they sound really great, even though they're boring as shit live. Opeth. They released their album Still Life, which they're a great band, okay?
Yeah.
We have Dream Theater coming back, brother, okay? They released their album, Metropolis Part 2, okay?
Yeah.
We have Incubus coming out here, brother. Make Yourself. Okay.
Yeah. New metal. Yeah.
So we have the Misfits. They came out with Famous Monsters. Okay. Not a bad. I didn't mind the Graves guy. You know what I mean? And just think, he's gonna be in. Actually, he was already in WCW by the time.
Not Michael Graves.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, I know there was.
I thought it was only Jerry Only and Doyle that were in WCW.
No. They had like the whole crew there, brother. I'm pretty sure it was Michael Graves there too, because there was one Misfits member who actually ended up dating, from the Macho Man, his Gorgeous George, but I don't remember.
No, that's Doyle.
Doyle took her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doyle. I think Doyle might be dating her now.
Okay. Because I know one of them did. Because I didn't know that until she like said it on the Macho Man documentary, but I don't remember which mother it was. But he says Doyle. That makes sense. So we actually have the band Primus. Okay, one of my favorite ones, coming out with the album Anti-Pop. All right. We have Stone Temple Pilots, brother, coming out with number 4 around this time. We have AFI, all right, with one of their good albums, All Hallows EP. I mean, come on, brother.
That's when they were still good. Yeah, when they were still good.
Yeah. The Bloodhound Gang, okay, Hooray for Boobies around this time, and that's a lot of albums so far. Pretty good one. And
that's true.
I'm not even done yet with the ones. We have Cannibal Corpse, okay, with Bloodthirst, came out around this time. And one of the albums that I was surprised about seeing, which I listened to on a semi-daily basis, Behemoth Satanica, came out around this time too, brother.
Yeah, so there was a lot of like, I kind of wasn't listening to, I wouldn't think about that Cannibal Corpse record because I wasn't really listening to a lot of death metal at this time. I really don't know what I was listening to when I think back on it because everything, I just remember everything in 99 being pretty shitty because like, it's almost like, how's a good way to say this? It's almost like rap music was huge. Like hip hop was huge. But not like good hip hop for the most part. It was just like really super commercial hip hop.
Well, it's changed.
Well, that's true. I mean, honestly, that's kind of the same shit now. But and then like new metal was like the only like rock music that was popular.
Well, what's changed? I mean, like if you think about it, like especially nowadays.
I mean, it's kind
of anything from like late 90s to like early 2000s is like the new thing nowadays. It's like like the area that it's like the decade or whatever that's finally remembered now. Like that is the old generation right now, is the early 90s to 2005 or something era.
Yeah, like it just astounds me. Like if somebody came up to me tomorrow and said, "Oh man, like I really like Korn," I'd be like, "Okay, I could accept that." But like, there's so many people that are like kids, like young kids that are like into Limp Bizkit now, and I'm like, what do you see in this? Like, it was shit the first time. Like, why? Why do you like this? Just because everybody you know likes it? Like,
yeah.
But I just remember that shit being huge. I think we've talked about it one time before on WrestleMania 22 or something, maybe. But yeah, every band had a DJ.
Yeah, buddy.
Like, you know, every band had a DJ, and like it's kind of funny because some of those bands kind of like tried to cover it up later and pretend they never had a DJ, like the Deftones.
Yeah,
like the Deftones pretends they never had a DJ. He's a keyboard player, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember when he was a DJ. And the same with the guy from Incubus. Although he still, I think, does the DJ thing live, but then he became like the keyboard percussionist guy.
Yeah, that's how you change
after that shit was not cool anymore.
Well, what you're saying basically is I won the first round because all the albums that came out my month of the year totally kicked yours ass.
That's true, yeah. So there was some good records came out in '99. That in October of '99, that Cannibal Corpse and
Behemoth.
Yeah,
come on, brother.
Behemoth. Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff. That AFI album is good.
Yeah, it's like one of the only ones that are actually decent.
Well, I mean, AFI was really good from like say their third record until like their sixth record, and then they just fell off a cliff. I don't know what the fuck happened. But I used to be a huge fan of AFI. I've probably seen AFI 20 times.
Nice. I haven't seen them live, but
just in that time period.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer with the AFI. But like I think that was the first album I listened to was the that one we just talked about, the All Hallows Eve one, EP one.
Yeah.
And then kind of get one from there. But like, you know, it's pretty good. You know, the Misfits at this time not as popular as they once were, but I still like, you know, certain Michael Graves Misfits or Derry Only Misfits. I like some of the ones they came out with. So
that lineup was Michael Graves singing.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Have you ever told my Misfit story?
He might have. I don't know.
About how I almost auditioned to be the singer for the Misfits. Have I ever told that story?
No, I don't think you did. What?
All right, this is a funny story. It's funny. So in 1994, like when I was playing in my band, like we had to go. I think it was 94. Maybe it was 95. It was the summer of 95. We had to go. We went up to New York City for something, and we were staying there for like 3 days. And New York City has a magazine, a free magazine called Village Voice, which is basically you just pick it up on the street corner and it tells you all the things that are going on in New York City, shows, movies you could see, plays you could see, anything. And in the back of it, it has all these ads. So I was a huge Misfits fan. I was a huge Misfits fan since I was like 12 or 13 years old. So we're there for like, I don't know, like a week, maybe a few days. And I'm looking through the ads in the Village Voice. And I see this little tiny ad. And I say it was like the size of a thumb. It was like your thumbnail. It was literally that size. It was tiny. And it had the Misfits Crimson Skull in it. And this is before I knew they were getting back together or anything. So they had the Misfits Crimson Skull in it and a phone number. And I was talking to my friend who's like the guitar player in my band. And I'm like, the Misfits are getting back together. And it did like the ad did mention something about needing a lead singer or something like that. So it had that, the phone number, and the Crimson Skull. And I'm like, I want to do this. But I didn't. At the last minute, I just didn't do it. And I mean, obviously, I mean, Michael Graves is a fucking hell of a singer, even though I don't particularly like his Misfits or like him as a person. He's a great singer, and I would never have won that. But like, it would have been cool to go out to New Jersey and sing for the Misfits for one day.
Yeah, that'd been pretty wild.
Yeah, like you know when they say you regret the things you don't do more than you regret the things you do. Yeah, I regret not doing that. Like if I could have got that audition and just sang for the Misfits for a day, that would be fucking great.
That would have been cool.
That would have been a story. That would have been the better a story than a story I have now.
Yeah,
which is still pretty cool. But it would have been cool if I said, "Yeah, I auditioned to be the Misfits singer."
Well, you know, brother, just like WCW in '94 and '95, we can just fake it, brother. Because just like Ric Flair faked his retirement, technically twice. You know what I mean? Just go with the story like you did, and you were the runner-up to Michael Graves. That's how we're gonna look at it here.
I was second in line.
Yeah, almost had it, brother. But see, the thing is, he had more makeup on hand than you did, so that's why he got the gig.
He did, and he's taller. I blame it on that.
Exactly. He had a little bit more connections with the Filthy Animals than you did. So.
That's true.
So before we're almost close to the review, but I just want to talk about something that's fun that we don't talk about too much is 90s horror movies. Okay.
Yes.
So the ones that came around 1999, boy, are they rough. Okay. I just want to talk about mine first because boy, if I beat you in the music, you were killing me on the movies. So the movies that we have here for October of 1999 in the horror realm is we have one movie that's not bad. It's a remake. It's the remake of House on the Haunted Hill. Okay.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
This one I heard wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? I haven't seen this one personally myself, so I can't say if it's great or not. But I've heard it's actually not bad for a remake. Then we had this random movie called Bats, which has to be spelled upside down for some reason. I guess because
it has Lou, not Lou Gossett Jr. Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Bats is good.
So we have a bunch of prequels over here too. Okay, I got Dust from Dawn 3.
Nice.
Okay, I was like, fuck, we're already at number 3. Okay, I was like, I stopped after number 1. Come and see the Teddy Show. I love that movie.
Yeah, number 1 is the only one you need to watch in that for sure.
Warlock 3.
Warlock 3, fantastic.
That'd be a fun one. Yeah, that'd be a fun one to talk about. And then the one that caught me off guard was Children of the Corn 666. Isaac returned, brother. Oh, he's back, brother. Just like Jason comes back, brother, we got Isaac coming back, brother. He's here. He's back. Just take my money,
it's
brother.
Not even what a long ass title. Children of the Corn, not Children of the Corn 6. It's Children of the Corn 666. Isaac Returns.
Isaac Returns, brother. Just take my money.
What? Wow.
I mean, fuck.
Does it have the same guy playing Isaac in it?
It looks like some old dude. Movie? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just coming back.
That's fucking great.
So 94 actually has some pretty good ones. Mostly just two. Okay, but they're two great ones. So 94 actually has Pumpkinhead 2. Blood Wings,
right?
Which is a great fucking movie. I wish we could have done that one on the Retro Blood. All right.
Well,
but obviously, it's in the 90s.
But maybe we will on Lights Out one day.
That's true. We could do it on this show, but I could do whatever we want. And then we have a movie I haven't seen, but it looks pretty 90s fun. Young Blood, Fresh Meat. Looks like a vampire movie.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
And then, of course, we have probably the number one seller of October for the horror movies at the time. We have Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Came out.
Oh yeah, polarizing Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I particularly like it. A lot of people don't though.
I don't like it.
Really? Why?
Because it's too. I don't know, man. I just wasn't getting into it. That would be a pretty good one for us to do on the Lights Out, because we've done the Freddy movies, obviously, in the Retro Blood. Those are our first series that we did. Everybody check it out in the archives. We did all the Freddy's 1980s movies. But there's I was one little behind the scenes stuff. I was actually, on the Retro Blood YouTube page, I'm trying to do a bunch of Retro Blood shorts. And one of the movies I picked out was Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I was watching and stuff, and I don't know, man, it just bored the shit out of me. I didn't even finish it yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the one where it's about, like, they...
Yeah, it's all like fourth wall shit. Like, we
fourth wall shit.
We played you in the movie, but now I'm really being haunted and shit. Like, okay. Oh, and then like she has to go by her real name. I'm like, oh god, who booked this? Vince Russo? Who booked it? All right.
I mean, I think it was like at least something interesting for them to do with that series instead of the same old shit they were doing. And it kind of made it scary again a little bit. Yeah. But you're right, it is a little bit boring.
It just takes a while I don't know. I mean, I have to like give it maybe more of my attention. You know what I mean? Maybe watch it in like a better mood or something. Like because sometimes you gotta watch things in a new light, which that's
true.
Not everything, but sometimes you gotta watch stuff in a new light. Like, there's no way I'm watching Halloween Resurrection in a new light because that shit so fucking sucked. Okay.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's different things. So, but anyway, but everybody, that's a nice little like history of what was happening in two of our favorite categories. We like to talk about horror movies and metal at the time. But let's get into it, brother. It's time. It's time to battle these out. So, Alison, but before we battle them out, I just want to cut a little promo on you, brother. All right? Because this is battling the Halloween Havocs, brother. And I picked 1999. That's right. My roster, brother, don't got no bunkhouse guy on there, brother. All right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't got no honky tonk man on that roster, brother. Uh-huh.
Unfortunately for you, you don't.
All right, brother. I don't got no holds. I got storylines over here, brother. You want swerves? I got it. You want tits? You want tits, bro? I got the tits, brother. Okay.
Well.
You want some tension between the groups? Well, that's right. You got a little ass at the end of the scene. That's great. We got a little ass. No, you don't got no tits on there, brother. Okay.
That's true.
And guess what? When my Flair goes to the desert and gets buried, guess what? He actually does retire for more months than yours did. So there you go, brother.
Okay, good point. So when we start this off, so both of these have 9 full matches. Yes. Because one of your matches is only 3 seconds long, and we'll talk about it. But I don't really think it's fair for you if we count that.
No, especially going up against your main event.
Yeah, especially going up against my main event. But so we have to settle match number 1. So match number 1 of my show. Well, do you want me to tell them, or do you want to tell them? Do you want me to tell it?
Well, so what we do? What are we doing right now?
So we have to. So we're gonna do
doing some rules.
Well, okay. Well, we can talk about the rules, and then we have to throw the rules out the window for this first match. But then we'll go back to the rules again.
Okay.
And I'll explain why the first match is different, and as when we get there.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. You want me to explain now? Okay. So the difference between the problem with that we have with my show is there was one untelevised match.
Yes.
However, so we couldn't actually watch it.
You know what's weird about that though?
What?
Like your untelevised match, both those guys were on my show.
No, only one of them was.
Brad Armstrong wasn't on mine?
Brian Armstrong is Road Dogg.
No. Oh, I thought yours was Brad Armstrong.
No, that first match that we couldn't watch is Brad. It's Brian.
Brian, gotcha.
Just
okay.
Road Dogg. So this was right before he became Road Dogg.
Gotcha.
So, so I'll explain why I should win this when we get to there. But I'll make my case, and then you can make your case for yours that we could actually watch. But what are the rules going to be, though?
Okay, so everybody, kind of like how we did last year, the way that we do this battle is we go match by match, and we compare the two matches from the show to each other. So the way we're going to judge it is by like crowd reaction. All right, if the match, kept our attention. All right, and then the just like the style of the match. So we're going for crowd reaction if it kept our attention, and then the style of the match if it was exciting, if it fit really well with the show.
Yep. Okay, sounds good to me.
So that's how we do it. And of course, there's a lot of like segments and storylines which we'll talk about as well too. Mine had a lot more than Alison's did, but how we'll do it is we'll go with the interviews and the backstage segments. Then we'll do the match, and then I'll have Alison go with his, and then we'll compare the two matches, and then me and him will figure out, we'll agree or disagree, we'll figure it out, and we'll give each other a point. So we're very biased over here. So we won't just love every match that we have on there. So, but I said let's do it. How about since your pay-per-view aired first? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do your opening segment and match, and then we'll compare it to mine.
Okay. So basically, the opening match on my pay-per-view was that untelevised one, so we couldn't actually watch it.
Yes.
So that match was Booker T with Stevie Ray in his corner, who pinned Brian Armstrong. So Brian Armstrong became Road Dogg. So this is before he went to WWF. Just in a singles match to open up the show. Okay. So like I said, I can't speak a lot about it. The crowd probably wasn't insane for this because Booker T was not the big star that he would become. And Brian Armstrong was just Brad Armstrong's brother at this point. So I don't really have a lot to say about this particular match. So there's probably more you can say about your match if you want to talk about that.
So, which is crazy. So how about, since we're not doing my event, how about we both get like half a point? How about that?
Half a point? I think that I should automatically win simply because Disco Inferno was in your match.
Hold on, brother, because I really wanted to battle Disco Inferno, okay, versus the Honky Tonk Man. Because these matches were almost identical, which is crazy. Even though I think my match, the Disco one, was a lot more entertaining than the Honky Tonk Man, all right, versus fucking the future Mark Merrow. All right. But we'll see.
Well, yeah, but your second match, though, is really good. And would easily be my second match in most cases.
Okay, well, let's see.
I'm going to have to make a case for that match number 2.
Okay. Well, we'll see. So my show basically starts off, okay, with we got a couple of promotional packages. And we see that the two big main events is going to be Goldberg and Sid, and then Hogan and Sting, okay, are the two big matches for tonight, okay? And we start off, and you know what's funny? My commentary team and your commentary team was the same.
Yes.
Okay? Tony Schiavone, all right, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Of course, yours. Let's just be honest though. I'll give you this one. Okay, you get a point for this. Your Bobby the Brain Heenan and Tony Schiavone was way more lively. Okay, mine was like, why are we still working here?
Yeah.
Little rough.
Have you ever on an early episode of the AEW podcast? I don't know if you listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about how, like, when Tony Schiavone talks about how when he came back from WWE to go back to WCW,
yeah,
he basically wanted to kill himself every day.
Yeah,
when he went into work. But yeah, they by '99 they definitely did not want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
So refresh my memory. So your pay-per-view in '99, is this the same month that Russo and Ferrara got there?
Yes. Yeah, they've kind of already been there, and the whole storyline with them is like the powers to be. So we did. Yeah. It wasn't said on TV, hey, here's Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara. No, it was just at this particular time, they were just known as the powers to be, and we did hear a couple, the writers from New York. All right? So we're getting that going on at the time. It was kind of like how they did the I was going to say the anonymous GM, but no, this is just basically, you would hear like Vince Russo's voice when he would be the powers to be guy. But, at the time, nobody knew what he sounded like because he was always behind the scenes on the WWF. It wasn't until he actually came out on TV all the time where we actually figured out what his voice was and who he was, and he kind of built himself like a little character in his way. So
so this is, at this point, were they shooting... They used to do this thing where they would have, like, they were sitting at a table and they would shoot whoever whatever wrestler they were talking to. And then you could hear Vince Russo talking.
Yes.
But you couldn't see their faces.
Yes.
And then they would have the Harris brothers do their bidding whenever they needed something done.
Yeah, and Kurt Hennig was one of the guys that did
Kurt Hennig, yeah. And because Medusa comes out and she calls them the superpowers. Yeah. And then Tony corrects her and says the powers that be. Yes. Which makes me think that that's what made me think that it was pretty new to all of them.
Yeah, it's pretty. They're pretty freshly new at this time. So we find out first off that Ray and Conan, okay, they have won the world tag belts, okay, but they're actually going to be stripped of the belts because Ray hurt his leg. So we're just stripping these guys quick. We're not going to let him heal. You know what I mean? We're not going to you broke your ankle and your ligaments. Oh, we're not going to give up the tag belts. We're going to have you beat the Righteous Team for 2-on-1. Oh. No, not here, brother. Not in WCW. You hurt your leg for a second, you're stripped. Okay?
Right.
So we find out at the beginning of the show, and then, of course, this is when we had the first match, Disco Inferno versus Lash LaRue. And Alison, I just want to ask you a little question. Were you ever a big fan of Lash or LaRue?
I thought he was okay. I mean, I was never a huge fan, no. But I thought he was a decent wrestler. I mean, a decent cruiserweight wrestler.
Yeah, me too. I actually thought he was, because I remember watching him when I was a youngster. And I was like, you know what, this guy, not too bad. Very solid. Like you were saying, really good cruiserweight style wrestler. And I do remember him later on going into the MIA, the Misfits in Action. And I can't remember what his name. It's like Corporal something. He was his name or something.
I was going to ask because I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like Corporal something. But he did. I'm surprised he didn't go to TNA and because he actually had some pretty decent personality. So, and of course we have the one and only Disco Inferno, very polarizing character. But
Glenn Gilberti.
Glenn Gilberti, brother, Mr. Strip Club himself. So actually, I was pretty surprised about this match because the crowd was actually pretty into it. And it was actually a pretty hot match for them at this particular time. And I didn't mind the Disco character. I think around this time, he's already been part of the NWO. And the whole NWO stuff is pretty much gone at this time. We're having some hints of bringing it back. And this is the period where, Disco was actually doing some pretty solid cruiserweight wrestling matches at this time. And of course, later on down the road, once Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and all them leave, he actually will join up with the Filthy Animals. So this is kind of like his little period where he's actually just having some pretty good cruiserweight matches. So I put in my notes, good match. I thought the crowd was good in this match. I was pretty entertained by this particular match. And this style that they were working for, I actually thought it was a really good opener. So I'm going to give this an endorsement, all right, for me to win the first round of matches.
Okay. Well, I mean, I will concede for both of us to get half a point if you want to do that.
Yeah,
it's just hard for me to. It's hard for me to concede anything that has Disco Inferno in it.
Okay,
it's just difficult.
Let's
for me
compare.
To do that.
So now start off with yours. Let's see how we can compare with the Honky Man. I'll do the notes here.
So if we do that though, then we're going to be off by a match.
Well, how many matches was your show in total?
9.
Okay. Well, no, I only have 10 matches on mine. Is yours 9 plus the dark match?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then yours was 9 plus the 3-second match.
Okay, that's fine. Well, we'll just do it like that. So, let's see. Okay, so wait. I mean, we can't really. Okay, how about we both get half a point? Okay, I'll get a half a point for the disco. You get half a point for the for the Booker T versus Brian Armstrong match. How about we do that? Just to make it fair.
Because you're probably gonna win this second match anyway. Like I don't really see how my second match, which is Honky Tonk Man and Johnny B. Bad, is gonna beat your second match.
Okay. So let's talk about yours. So you go first with the build up to your Honky Tonk match.
So I didn't really get a lot of build up on this. Basically, Johnny B. Bad is kind of new at this point. I'm thinking like he's not, he's definitely a low. I guess he's like low. I guess you would call him low card. I was going to call him mid card, but he's probably not mid card.
He's a good opening act.
He's a good opening act. Yeah. And, he exists because Dusty Rhodes loved Little Richard and he thought Mark Merrow looked like Little Richard.
Which he did.
Which he kind of did,
version, I guess.
Like a jacked version of Little Richard. And then he made him get as tan as he could possibly get so he could look like Little Richard. And then on that other side, he's also the television champion at this point.
Yeah.
So, and he on the other side of the ring, we have him facing a endish of his career, we'll say, Honky Tonk Man.
Of all people.
Now,
I did not expect that turning on 1994.
To see Honky Tonk Man?
Yeah.
I think it makes perfect sense because he would be someone that Vince would be done with. Probably because he got done with all those guys, right? I mean, Macho went, like all those guys went. A lot of these guys on this show.
That's like 95 a lot too.
Yeah, 95, like 94, 95. A lot of those old WWF guys left, and then they were doing the new generation stuff at this point, right? Or they were about to.
No, they were.
So they were. Yeah, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart with a new hot thing, and nobody cares about Honky Tonk Man anymore.
Diesel, Razor Ramon, hot.
Yeah, all that stuff was super hot. So Honky Tonk Man is a good wrestler that people would recognize that you can use to put over your new hot shit talent, Mark Merrow. Sorry for me to say that with a straight face.
Come on, he was actually pretty entertaining.
I like Honky Tonk Man.
Oh yeah,
personally. I mean, he's not. He sound like you say that with such disbelief.
I was never a big fan of Honky Tonk. That is so fucking corny.
Do you like Jerry Lawler? They're basically the same wrestler.
Okay, the only thing I like was when Jerry Lawler called him his cousin.
Well, yeah, he is his cousin.
Yes. That's fun because you're road from Memphis and shit. I get it. But this whole Elvis ripper, I just thought it sucked. This match sucked too, okay? Come on now, brother.
But he's not singing anymore. That's
true.
And he's not wearing Elvis stuff. He's dressed in the singlet like Jerry Lawler. And he wrestles like Jerry Lawler here, where he's like doing the axe handle off the ring apron. And I could not possibly say the crowd was really into this, but it was. I mean, they were seeing a face that they knew, and the match was decent. The ending sucked because it went to a time limit draw. Yes, this thing went the full 10 minutes. Unbelievably, this thing went 10 minutes long. So Johnny B. Bad kept his title. The Honky Tonk Man fought him to a time limit draw. I guess they couldn't. I guess Honky wouldn't job for Mark Merrow yet at this point.
Not yet, brother.
It didn't work for him, brother.
Don't work for me, brother.
So that's what I have to say about it. What's your thoughts?
I mean, your match I thought totally sucked. But let's get to some. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it. So with mine,
now your match.
So mine, the build up is okay, everybody. There's gonna be a lot more segments in my show than there is gonna be in Alison's show because of the bookers, the writers. Okay, what was the powers that be, brother?
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. There's so many segments in here. I'm like, fuck. It's like half the show. So we see there's problem in the Revolution. So the Revolution at this time is basically Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Shane Douglas. Half of them, which will go to the F, like about 3 months later.
I was about to say, it wouldn't be long.
It's not long, brother. So they're having problems right now with Dean and Chris having problems with Perry. So we see a little backstage video of that, and they're gonna show Saturn. You know, he can stick everything up his ass. That's what Dean Malenko said. Okay.
Right.
And then we got a great interview from Harlem Heat. Yes, they're not on the pre-show on my show. They're on the second match.
Main show.
The main show. So we have an interview with Harlem Heat about the tag team match, and they're going to be facing off with the First Family. Okay, which wait till you hear who the fuck this team is. Okay, and it's going to be and the Filthy Animals. So you're thinking, and I was thinking too. So wait a minute, they just said they stripped the Filthy Animals of the belts. Well, I'll get there soon, brother. I'll get there. And they're going to be fighting in an Anything Goes match. And I just like it when Stevie Ray said, we're going to get all these fat fruit booties.
Yes.
Okay. So then we have our match. The match is going to be a three-way tag team match with the tag team championships on the line. Like I said, we stripped Conan and Ray of the belts. Okay, but now they're putting the belts up for grabs. So we have the First Family, who consist of Hugh Morris and fucking Brian Knobbs with Jimmy Hart. Yeah. And they all come out in Halloween mask. Okay. Then we have Harlem Heat, which is a great fucking team. And then we have the Filthy Animals, but the Filthy Animals are consistent of Conan and Kidman. And of course, they're wearing the belts out that they got stripped of.
Yes, so they didn't take them away from them, apparently.
Yes. And then at this time, Kidman, he's doing a whole video camera gimmick where he's like video camming everybody. And I'm pretty sure this is like because, you know, he was dating that hot Tory girl at the time. And I'm pretty sure they were trying to build up an angle to do like a Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson type of video where they were going to show Kidman fucking her.
I didn't even think of that. Think of that, but I think you're probably right because that was real big around this time.
Yeah. So that makes that's what I was thinking about because you know Vince he liked to add a lot of scandalous stuff to his programming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could that's what I don't think that videotape stuff. I think it did go somewhere, but I can't exactly remember what it was. I think it showed like somebody fucking Tory that wasn't Kidman. Okay, I think that's what the end storyline of that videotape things. I just can't necessarily remember who it was, and this did kind of lead eventually to Alison's favorite match of all time, Viagra on a pole.
Oh yes, I forgot about that Viagra on a pole. Yes. Who booked that shit?
Yeah, who booked that? We know.
Vince
Russo. So I'm just gonna say a couple of things. So Hugh Morris, I was a fan of his, and I actually really liked when he was later on when he would do the whole MIA stuff, and he was fighting Lance Storm for the U.S. belt. That happened around 2000. I always fucking hated Brian Knobbs. I hate the Nasty Boys. I think they fucking suck. I think they're boring. The only thing they're good at is just hardcore matches, and they're barely good at that to begin with. Okay.
So I like the Nasty Boys a little more than you do. Where was Jerry Sags in this, the other Nasty Boy?
I have no idea. He was probably just fucking getting cocaine or something out there. Because, Brian Knobbs is here because he was Hogan's boy. That's the only reason they ever got booked anywhere, because they were fucking Hogan's boys.
Yeah, he still goes. I watched a YouTube video of a guy who went to a Hulk Hogan signing at the Hogan's Beach House or whatever. Like he does it like a few times a year. And Brian Knobbs was at that. just because he's still Hogan's boy. But yeah, they've been friends forever. I don't know why. It's one of those things. I mean, maybe he's just a cool dude. I don't know.
He might be a cool dude in real life. I just didn't like the wrestling style with the whole armpit shit and this fucking rat tail fucking mullet. It's just boring. I just didn't. I wasn't a big Nasty Boys guy. Okay.
I didn't like him then, but I like him a little bit better now. But yeah, basically, it's weird for me to see Hugh Morris in that group because I think of him more as like a singles wrestler. So I guess he broke out of this.
Yeah, he eventually did break out of it and become like a singles guy.
Yeah, so basically the group at this time consisted of Barbarian, Jerry Flynn, not Jerry Lynn, Jerry Flynn.
Yeah, Flynn.
Brian Knobbs and Hugh Morris.
The only thing I know about Jerry Flynn's that time where he was walking back and he said fuck on camera and he's like looked really shocked.
The only thing I know about him at all is basically he's like a martial arts type wrestler.
Yeah,
that's
kind of like a Steve Blackman type of deal.
Yeah, exactly. And he was in New Japan for a little bit. I mean, that's about. I can't even think of what he looks like.
So this match was okay. This actually was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of hardcore shit going on. People breaking tables, fighting people. But the fucking ending was fucking weird as shit. So we have Booker T and Stevie Ray fighting Knobbs and Hugh Morris in the back. Okay, and Stevie Ray hits. I believe it's Brian Knobbs with a mummy. Okay.
Yes.
And he picks about that. And he picks up the mummy. And he picks up the win. And then the referee counts to 3. And then while he's winning, the other guys like Conan and Kidman, they're still fighting in the ring. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're still fighting the ring, and then the referee just comes in there and stops everything, and then Conan hurts his shoulder, and he hurts it so bad that he needs to get rushed out to the hospital. So just for the match pin alone with the mummy, I'm gonna have to beat your little honky tonk man guy.
Yeah, I can see.
Even though this is all fucked up though. Did you imagine, like, basically what happened was us at home, all right, everybody, watched a pinfall happen, and then everybody in the arena didn't see anything at all. And then when the referee comes in here saying, hey, they won, they're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what?
So there's no, like, So basically the announcers are talking about it, but nobody in the arena can see it.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just like nothing is happening. It's just like,
then they come there, and they're like, hey, they won, and they're like, what the fuck? Because like Kidman was about to like get a pinfall, and then it just didn't happen. So
yes, you definitely get a point for that.
So we'll give me my little point for that match. So now I'm 1.5 and you're 1.5. So okay, so what do we got next for your next matchup and build?
All right, so I also don't know why this match is happening, but it is the tag team of Pretty Wonderful, which consisted of Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Pretty Paul Roma. Those guys took on Stars and Stripes, which consisted of the Patriot and Buff Bagwell.
Fuck, bro, you might win this one because I love Stars and Stripes, brother. These guys were fucking great.
That is not what I thought you would say.
The Patriot, brother. The Patriot, he'd be there in 97. I love the Patriot. And then fucking Buff Bagwell. Oh, I thought these guys were so great. Like just baby faces, you know what I mean? Jacked.
Oh yeah, they're super baby faces. Super baby faces.
You know what I mean? Fuck. Marcus and by the way, it's Marcus Alexandra Bagwell. Thank you.
Oh yeah, he's not buff yet. He's not buff the stuff yet.
Not yet,
he's still
brother.
Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
Yeah, I have the buff one. He's okay.
Yeah. He looks like a kid, like a little kid almost, like a teenager.
He probably was.
He probably was. And then we had Paul Orndorff. Any Paul Orndorff match is good, in my opinion. Like, the guy really can do no wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really honestly know a lot about Paul Roma. I mean, he was fine in this match, but I don't know a lot about him.
I mean, the only thing I know, he had that Stars and Stripes team. Okay. And he was part of the Horsemen for a little bit, and everybody hated it. And that was about it. That's the only thing I know.
But yes. So basically, this match happened because it happened. It was for the tag team championships, which Stars and Stripes were the champions going into it. The titles did change hands though. Okay. So Pretty Wonderful beat Stars and Stripes. Marcus Alexander Bagwell, he hit a suplex on Orndorff as he went for the cover. The referee's back was turned, and let Paul Roma hit Bagwell with an elbow at the top rope, and Orndorff covered Bagwell, and then that's how they won.
Okay. So how was the crowd? How was your excitement? Give me the 3 categories.
The crowd was okay. Like, they weren't going nuts or anything. But then the end of my show, the crowd was like on fire. So it's hard to compare these early matches with what would happen later. But I mean, it was okay. I mean, they were not like going nuts for this, but by the time the match ended with the screw job and everything, they were pretty upset that the Patriot was getting screwed because he's like super American. And they were kind of into it by the end. This match went 13 minutes long. So this was a long match for this, I think. The ending, I think the ending was good. I really liked the screw job ending. Which criteria did I miss?
Just if it kept your attention.
Oh, it kept mentioned. Yeah, it was good. It kept my attention, yes.
Okay. So with mine, I have a shit ton of backstage shit. Like, did you have any backstage stuff leading up to your match, or just honky tonk, then it just went to this match?
Honky tonk, and then these guys came out.
Well, all right, brother. I got your feel. If you like promos and shit, I got you. So right now we see Ric Flair and we see David Flair live with the crowbar. I'm like, oh boy, what's going on over here? So then we have DDP, and he comes out with his hot ass wife at the time, Kimberly. Okay, and DDP is a heel at this time. And I
thought that was weird.
Yes. Well, I remember his heel run. He was actually heel for a pretty long period of time. So they're talking about Ric Flair. So basically, so here's what happened. So Kimberly invited David Flair to her hotel room for some sex. Okay.
Yeah.
And she did that to trick him, supposedly. But so it was a swerve, but then Ric Flair swerved them because he showed up, and because he's Ric Flair, he spanked her 14 times. Okay, in the end.
Yeah, she was going to drug him, right? She was going to drug.
Yeah, they were going to drug him. Yeah, she was going to drug him and probably do some stuff to get to Ric Flair. But Ric Flair got there because he knows how to party, and he spanked her 14 times. Okay.
Yes.
So with the whole interview, hold on. The whole interview though with DDP was like, it's like, Nature Boy, you had this hot piece of ass and all you did was spank it. And I was just thinking, well, what do you want to do? Fuck her? I'm like, what? I was like, okay.
Right.
So what were you going to say? Do you have some questions for me, brother?
No, I was going to say that it's weird. It's just odd that, so when I thought, so I remember this. Like, I remember watching this and I remember this angle, but I didn't remember anything about it. Like, if before I watched it, if you'd asked me about it, I wouldn't remember it at all. I do remember this, but like watching it, it's weird because I thought for sure that DDP would be the face.
No,
because the way they describe like Ric Flair, like the way he was and the way he's like spanking Kimberly, and I was like, oh, DDP must be the face because he's defending his wife, who was assaulted by Ric Flair. But no, Ric Flair's the face.
Yes, because this is WCW, brother. You know, we're gonna have this girl who was wanting to do some adultery on her husband. Okay, by drugging up this young guy.
She wasn't really going to do it. She just told David she was.
So basically, this leads to DDP and Flair going to have a strap match. And then basically, DDP's like, he's going to strap his ass all night long, brother.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I
So this wasn't on the card. So when originally this was not going to happen. So when when you bought WCW Halloween Havoc 99, this was not one of the matches that you knew about.
Exactly, brother. Here we go. So now we have Goldberg. He's looking for Sid in the back. And then now we see a Filthy Animals interview, and we heard that Conan's going to the hospital, and we have I believe it was Mike Tenay talking to Eddie Guerrero, and Eddie Guerrero was saying, hey, check out my new Rolex. And he's like, well, why didn't you steal that from Ric Flair? I was like, no, I didn't. What the hell are you talking about? So we're seeing that Flair has a lot of people who's against him right now. We have the Filthy Animals against Ric Flair, and we have DDP against Ric Flair at this time as well. And Eddie Guerrero is basically showing off his watch. he's like, don't ask stuff about filthy animals. That's our business. And I'm about to have my match with Saturn up here next. So that's the next match we are going against. It's going to be Saturn versus Eddie Guerrero. All right. Eddie has his the Rolex watch on. Okay. And I like how he actually goes up to Bobby Heenan. He's like, I only trust you with my watch. So, okay. And I was just watching this, and I was just like, I was like, when did these guys go to fucking WWE? You know what I mean? Like, cause this is October 24th, 1999. When they actually debut for WWF? January 31st, 2000. So we're only like 3 months away from this.
I was about to say,
this is crazy.
At one point, Benoit wins the title, right? And he throws it in the garbage. And then
no, he doesn't.
Leave,
I don't think he
right
throws it. He doesn't throw it in the garbage. Like
he gives it. Well,
no, he doesn't do anything. He gives it
back to Arn Anderson and tells him. I thought he told him he didn't want it or something like that.
I don't think so. I mean, you could be right, but I thought it was just like he taps out Sid, and then Sid's foot or something was like kind of like underneath the bottom rope. They did that just in case they got an out. And then like basically Benoit just left, and they said, well, Benoit left, and we got the title up for grabs, so we'll just do a tournament. I think it was something like that.
Well, there was a thing on Nitro the next day when he's talking to Arn, and Arn says, "Hey, I didn't see Sid's because Benoit's pissed off because he didn't really win. He should have not tapped him out because his foot was breaking the plane of the Sid's foot was breaking the plane of the rope." And then he was mad at Arn about it, and Arn said, "Hey, I didn't see it. You're right. I shouldn't have ended the match." And then I remember Benoit, obviously this is storyline. This is not like shoot, but like I remember Benoit saying they didn't want the title or something like that because he didn't earn it. And he wanted to win it in a real match. And he gave the title back to Arn. And then he was pretty much gone after that.
Okay.
Like I don't remember him ever being on the show again, but that's just a memory that I have from, more than 20 years ago. So it could definitely be wrong.
Yeah, I'm still a little rusty on my 1999 going to 2000 WCW drama. So, but this match actually was pretty great. We have Eddie Guerrero and Saturn. They both work well together. We did have Ric Flair show up. He came and had a disqualification for this match. He hit Eddie in the ribs with the crowbar. Kidman comes out with Tori. Flair punches a Kidman, and he starts dancing around Tori like he wants to fuck her, and he kisses her, like he kisses her, and then she likes it, brother. Ric Flair goes out there, forces a kiss on you, brother, and you're gonna like it, and she likes it. Okay. So then Ric Flair leaves. I like this part though. Ric Flair, he leaves, right? And then he comes back because he forgot his watch, and then he leaves. So this match is good, but crowd reaction was fine, especially when Flair got out there. But like I got to get this one to you because yours actually had a full match and finish, and I can't give a disqualification any points, even though two great wrestlers between Saturn and Eddie. But this is more like a gimmick match. Like this is more like a storyline match than it is like a world tag team title change. So I'm gonna have to give it to you.
All right.
So we're talking
I will take that point because what we've got coming up is going to be a little bit hard for me to justify.
All right. Well, what do we got next, brother? What do we got? What do we got, Alison?
So what we got next is this is so hard for me to say with a straight face. So we have Kevin Sullivan, who we've talked about before, the Warlock, who fought Dave Sullivan.
Oh yeah.
So Dave Sullivan, I want to talk about Dave Sullivan for a minute.
Is that really his brother?
I did not. No, not in real life. Okay. He was just a different guy. I did not know who Dave Sullivan was until I watched the show. I had never heard of this guy in my entire life. I do want to talk about him a minute. He, oh my God, how can we say this? So this show is going to be Lights Out has no rules, and this part of the show is going to be a little bit not politically correct. And I'm going to laugh at it. And I apologize for anyone out there that this offends. So basically, Dave Sullivan was, I can't say this straight face, was the dyslexic brother of Kevin Sullivan.
Yes.
And he would mispronounce his own name as Evod, Dave backwards.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like a Eugene, right?
So,
That's what I thought
it's
when
not
watching them.
quite like that. It's similar to that, yeah, but it's not as pronounced as Eugene. Basically, what's happening at this point is Hulk Hogan has debuted in WCW, and Dave Sullivan is the biggest Hulk Hogan fan in the world. And then, of course, that makes Kevin Sullivan mad. So they start.
I mean, I thought that was Brother Budai, but I guess I was wrong.
Okay, so right. Okay, hold on. So this is confusing.
Yeah,
I thought that too. So it is Brother Budai, Brutus Beefcake, is in the Hulkamania stuff in some of those scenes, but this Dave guy looks almost exactly like him. So I got them confused.
Yeah.
But yes, so in some of those scenes he is, but what's happening in this storyline is he's like the biggest Hulk Hogan fan in the world. That's why he comes out dressed like Hulk Hogan. Although he's blonde or he's not blonde at this point, but he has been blonde in the past. And he comes out dressed like Hulk Hogan. And that's what he was doing during this time. This is not related to our show, but I did want to mention that he would go on to have a feud with Big Bubba Rogers.
Uh-huh.
And the storyline for this was that he had a pet rabbit. Dave Sullivan did. And Bubba is allergic to rabbits. And Bubba would come out to the ring to fight Dave Sullivan wearing a surgical mask, a COVID mask.
Yeah.
And Sullivan would always win because he would pull off the mask and then his allergies would act up. And that's how Dave Sullivan would win.
That was perfect, brother.
That's amazing. So anyway.
So apparently with the bunnies and Chihuahua dogs, Bubba Rogers doesn't like them. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I was at that Chihuahua dog show. Killing the Cell. Yeah, I was at that show. That's the only Hell in the Cell I've ever seen live.
Well, the one I saw wasn't that good either. I saw the Shane McMahon and Undertaker one from WrestleMania. So.
Oh, that's better than what I saw. I mean, like I saw.
You had dogs shitting in yours, brother.
That's true. Yeah, I saw the only Kennel in a Cell match ever live. So this went 5 minutes. It ended in a count out. It had a shitty ending. The crowd did not give a shit about this whatsoever.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty.
So I'm gonna have to give the points to you.
No, hold on.
That.
So we're going.
Regardless.
Hold on, we're not done yet. I gotta see. We gotta see.
We're
what
not done
match,
yet. All right.
Because the match that I'm going up against you, brother, is not as good either. Okay. So
it's better than this.
Okay, so let me build it up. So like I was saying to everybody, I have way more segments in my show than Alison does.
That's true.
So you just gotta bear with me, okay, through this shit. So we're back with my show. Goldberg is now found Sid. Now he's beating his ass. And I'm like, why is this? Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, I know that you're in like a blood feud, but why is Goldberg beating Sid's ass right now? Like, aren't you like the baby face? Like, just do your action in the ring. Like, shouldn't it be like the other way around?
Yes, but the reason this is happening is because I remember specifically. It's weird that I would say this now, but with everything that would happen.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing that Ferrara and Russo were going to go to WCW, and WCW was finally going to be good. This is exactly what they needed. It was going to be more
I heard that
like
same
the
shit
Attitude
too.
Era. It was going to be like the Attitude Era. It was going to be hardcore. It was going to be fucking awesome. So this happened because they wanted to introduce blood. So WCW didn't have blood up until about now. I'm pretty sure that any bleeding during like the Monday Night Wars era of WCW was accidental.
Yeah, I can see that.
So they weren't doing any blade jobs at this time. So this was honestly pretty shocking when I watched this. I was like, oh, well, maybe WCW is going to get good because Sid's like bleeding down his face and he's screaming, "Is that all you got? Is that all you got?" At Goldberg. So that's why they did that to make this seem more real. It's a blood feud. This is serious.
Yeah, because
these guys are going to kill each other. That's why.
I remember like the buildup. So the buildup was, Sid is like the Millennium Man, and he was trying to break the Goldberg streak, and he was faking it more than Goldberg was. Okay, trying to get up like past like whatever Goldberg's high score was. And they had this contract signing, but Sid was like, if you touch me, you're going to break it. And of course, Goldberg's too much of a man, so he fights him anyway. And then they go back and forth, and then they eventually got this match. It's kind of like, it's like a version of an unsanctioned match, but it's like pretty much like a big blood feud match at this time. And to be honest with you, I liked it. I actually liked the pairing of Goldberg and Sid. I thought they were like a perfect match for each other because they both pretty intense, both big dude, jacked up dudes. You don't need to do a whole lot. Just do a bunch of power spots. Like, once we get to this match, I'll talk about it. But anyway, we got that going on. So now we have non-Alexander Bagwell. We got Buff Bagwell over here, brother. 99. He comes to the ring, and he's talking about the new Riders, brother. That's what we're talking about, the new Riders. Hey, everybody, on this fake wrestling show, I'm going to talk about the Riders. Okay? Just like, when we're watching fucking Nefen Lakita, she's going to go on there and talk about the Riders or changing her characters. God, it's fucking stupid. I hate when people bring up the fucking Rider. Hell, the Rider.
Talk about
up.
Exactly. Talk about breaking kayfabe, get rid of the.
It's kind of like that Jason movie. It's like that Jason movie we watch. Look, I've been in horror movies before. Whatever, bitch. You're going to die.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree.
I've never been a big fan of the whole ride. I think it's funny, okay, but I just never been a fan of it. Like, please tell me it's fake without telling me it's fake. Thank you. Okay?
Right. Exactly.
So he's also talking about Jeff Jarrett. Boy, what a match that would be. So he calls out Jeff Jarrett, Buff Bagwell, and Jeff Jarrett. Oh my God. So he comes out.
And Jarrett must have just got there too, right? Jarrett could have been there long.
Yes. Whenever the last housekeeper match was. So that probably was like maybe a month. That's like a month or two. It was on Unforgiven, so I believe it was like a month or two before this.
Okay.
So Jeff comes out. They brawl, and Luger comes out. All right, Lex Luger here, brother. He comes out and he hits Buff in the head with the guitar, and the guitar doesn't break at all. I put laugh out loud on my notes.
So
that's a little segment.
I was going to say, I don't know how they got out of it.
Yeah.
So the NWO is not really mentioned at all in the show.
Well, they're not. There's no NWO at this time. They already been disbanded. We have the only NWO light people we have is the Outsiders. But this Nitro we're hinting at getting the NWO back together, which I'll talk about later.
Yeah.
So now Sid gets up and he's all pissed off. All right. So now Eddie calls Ray on the phone and he tells him to come back here to the arena because he got his Rolex stolen. So he wants Ray and all them and everybody to come back to the arena, not because all of them left with Conan. They all left with Conan to go to the hospital, and he tells them all to come back here. So now we actually get to the match that I'm going up against you, and I could not believe this is actually on a pay-per-view. And I was like, wow, this should have been in the fucking dark match. But no, this was live on Halloween Havoc, one of WCW's biggest pay-per-views. We have Brad Armstrong versus Alex Wright, the Berlin version.
Yeah, Berlin.
The neo-goth, the neo-Russian goth or German goth Berlin with the wall.
Like this?
I thought this match fucking sucked. Like, what are you talking about? So,
okay,
this is the boringest match ever. So Brad Armstrong is great.
It wasn't great.
So, okay, hold on. So Brad Armstrong is actually a pretty good wrestler, but he was a good wrestler from 1989 to not now. Okay?
Not now.
I only like Alex Wright when he did his dance.
Yeah, that was cool. The dance was
Berlin,
awesome.
The Berlin one always sucked, even though the wall later on became pretty cool.
Yeah, when it became Malice.
Yeah.
And TNA, yeah.
Well, actually, I just like when he was called the Wall, and he chokeslammed that person to the ceiling. I think it was Hulk Hogan. That was
he was a good character. True. And he would join the military group. What are they called?
Yeah, Misfits in Action. He would join them too.
Misfits in Action. He was Sergeant AWOL.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, fuck, man. Like, so you got Dave Sullivan and Kevin. I'm gonna have to give it to you, brother, because at least yours had Kevin Sullivan in it.
All right, I thought for sure I'd lose that one, but I'll take that one too, brother.
I mean, what do you think?
I think Brad Armstrong is a good wrestler, and I enjoy watching him. This was not a good match. It wasn't.
It was boring as shit.
I didn't like it either. It was super boring.
Like, the thing is, in the realm of things, your match had more, like, it was higher regarded. Mine was just something to throw on the fucking show. So we're going to have to give it to you on this one.
All right. Fair enough.
They're killing me. Okay, what do we got next from you?
All right, next from me, we have.
I'm dying over here, brother. Come on, brother.
I lost my little card here. All right, this. I was really looking forward to this. So in this one, we got the natural Dustin Rhodes, the heir to Dusty's empire, taking on the legendary Arn Anderson, who for some reason has Ming in his corner, and I'm not really sure why that happened. This I thought was a good match. I'm not really sure why this is happening, other than Arn is trying to get back at Dusty's kid. That's the only thing I can really get out of this.
Oh, yeah.
There's not. Well,
he joined that. He joined that stable with Parker.
Yes, he joined the Colonel Tom Parker or whatever that guy was called. The guy that was basically based on Elvis's manager.
Was that the Studs? So he's in that stable Studs stable, right?
That sounds familiar. Yeah. I don't have that in my notes, but that sounds familiar. So Dustin wins. Arn attempted to cheat. He got in the ropes for leverage to cover Rhodes. The referee, who was Randy Anderson, classic referee, caught him and he broke the count. Then Dustin rolled up Arn, and they counted the 1, 2, 3. So he basically won on a roll up. So it wasn't the greatest ending. It wasn't the most exciting ending, but it was a good baby face victory. So you had the heel who's trying to cheat. The cheating turns against him, and it costs him the match.
Yeah, and I believe
being
the
honest and good always wins out.
And the build-up was like Dusty. He asked Arn to be his partner, right? And then Arn turned on him, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. And then after that, Arn beats the shit out of Dustin Rhodes and DDTs him.
Well, there you go. Let's go. So
yeah.
So what led up to my next match that I'm going against you is we have Ric Flair came out for a promo, and he's talking about the great spanking he did on Kimberly. Okay,
mm-hmm.
He's also saying, like Tori, she got a taste of that also. Okay, all right, and then he's basically saying that the Nature Boy, he's going to come out here and do it one more time. Okay, so he's getting ready for his strap match that he's going to be having with DDP later on. So the next match that I'm going against yours is a TV title match, and the champion Chris Benoit versus Rick Steiner. Okay,
it's gonna be a tough one.
So this is gonna be a tough one because the problem with this match was it was kind of boring, and I don't think I would ever say that about a Rick Steiner and Chris Benoit match, because those guys are two of the most hard hitting wrestlers there is. But it was just like a 50-50 match I put on here. So I swear we heard some boring chants. Okay. It was a hard-hitting match, but it was just like, nothing much. We had like Benoit did a headbutt on the chair. Dean comes out, and he looks like he was going to attack Rick Steiner, but he doesn't. He turns his back on Chris Benoit and hits him with the chair. And then Rick Steiner comes in, and he pins him for the victory. And then we have Dean and Perry. They make up, so it was a swerve the whole time. Dean was aligned with Perry Steiner and Shane Douglas, and they're kicking Chris Benoit out of the Revolution, brother. So.
Yep. Sad day.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. Like, these matches were like almost 50-50. Like, they were pretty similar. So what do you think? Like, tie?
I mean, I'll take a tie. I mean, I'll accept that. I mean, like, definitely, you get Dustin Rhodes going against an past his prime Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a decent match, but it wasn't fantastic. I actually kind of liked I'm biased because I love Chris Benoit so much and I love Rick Steiner too. That I was super excited. I was super excited anytime I see Chris Benoit in a match. So I was kind of a little bit honestly partial to the Chris Benoit one. But if you want to do a tie on that one, yeah.
See, I mean, there's better Benoit matches or better Steiner matches, but when we compare the two, I think these two were very similar, where the crowd was just bored during the match. And it was okay match. They were hard-hitting, good wrestlers, but it just didn't do a lot. So these matches, to me, I think they deserve a tie because they're very similar of how they were booked. So what do you got? What do you got next, brother? I think I got you in this next one. Match number 6. I think I got you.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh, wow. Okay, so my match number 6.
Anything leads up to it or what?
Yeah, well, so I'm just tell you what the match is first. Well, what I have leading up to all of my matches are parts of the things about the matches.
Okay.
So basically, the match itself is Jim Duggan, who's the United States heavyweight champion, and he's taking on stunning Steve Austin.
Oh boy.
For the
damn it, that's this match? Fuck.
For the heavyweight championship, yeah. So now what led up to this was I gotta find my notes again. Yeah. What led up to this was Duggan and Austin had fought at Fall Brawl the month before, and Duggan beat Austin and took the title in 35 seconds. So they show the entire match. It lasted 35 seconds. So Austin just jobbed it out to Duggan. So in this one, you may end up winning this one because it does end in a disqualification. Duggan wins the title. Duggan's trying to hit him with a clothesline, and Austin avoided it, and he threw Duggan over the top rope, which this time caused a disqualification immediately. So he had that over the top rope disqualification rule in effect, and that's what ended this. So so that the ending kind of sucked because of that. So I think the match was good, and the crowd was really into it. And one thing I thought was interesting was this was basically, other than having hair, he was basically Stone Cold Steve Austin during this. Like, he was doing the stomps and all the stuff that Steve Austin does.
I thought he was.
He wasn't doing he was quicker. Yeah, he wasn't doing the fingers and that kind of thing, and the head shaking. Well, he was doing the head shaking a little bit, but like the way he wrestled was the same. As he would be as Stone Cold. He came out wearing a vest even with no shirt like Stone Cold. But I don't know. Like I really like this match a lot, except for the ending, because I always hate that stupid over the top rope thing. It's just such a
stupid.
It's dumb. It's just it's like a cop out. It's a way to keep the title on somebody without having either man get pinned.
Yep.
And it's just annoying. So I think you're probably going to win this one because I think your match was a lot better. I mean, the crowd was into this up until the ending because nobody likes the over the top rope match, and people loved Hacksaw then, just like they loved him even today. Yeah. Austin was. I don't know.
It's crazy to see. It's crazy to see Austin at this time and what he would be later on.
Right. Like they say Austin wasn't over, but I don't really understand why. I mean, people seem to like him. He wasn't a superstar, but he was definitely he was not nobody. We'll put it that way. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it was decent. The ending sucked again. The crowd was into it until the ending, and then the match itself I thought was pretty good, considering.
So what I got is we got an interview from Bret Hart. That's right, brother. WCW Bret Hart. And I thought this interview was pretty good. He was talking about Luger because they're in a feud right now, and Luger was attacking his ankle, and then Bret Hart just wants to take it one step at a time, and he'll be okay to fight Luger tonight, even with his little messed up ankle. So that's the match that we got over here. It's Lex Luger versus Bret Hart, and I got to tell you something though. So the Bret Hart and Lex Luger, they got some pretty good chemistry. Because at this particular time, like we have Lex Luger over here, he's not the Lex Luger from Crockett era or nothing. He's a little slower, a little bigger. He's kind of doing that he's being like more of a bodybuilder character at this particular time. And he had that weird symbol on his trunks and shit. I think it was supposed to be his gym logo or something like that. I'm not really sure what his like Flexi Lexi, like body gym something logo. But he came out with Miss Elizabeth, which that's a story I don't want to talk about. All right, and he. The thing is about Lex Luger at this time. Remember, he was kind of slower a lot in the ring. He kind of did his best hits. But boy, when he came out here with Bret Hart, this motherfucker was working. He was taking back bumps. He was running around. He was doing slams, suplexes. I was like, fuck, bro, this is like a Lex Luger of the old. Like, Bret Hart's bringing out this. He's making this guy work, brother. He's making him work on his mat. It was great to see.
That's what I was going to say. Bret brought out the best in Lex for this match.
Oh, he did. And they had good chemistry. They had good chemistry in the F before, too. But, bro, he really, like, helped this guy bring out his potential in this match. I was very impressed with this match.
And this is heel Lex and face Bret, right? Because Owen is dead. So Bret's a face now.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was great in his promo was when he says Lex Luger will be excellently executed.
Yes. Yeah, so
that's fantastic.
So the way he won was he basically won. Luger actually won this match, and he actually submitted Bret Hart with a Boston Crab on the injured ankle.
I was shocked.
I was shocked. Well, I was like, Bret Hart tap it out. It makes sense with the story with the ankle, but I was like, what the fuck?
With the story with the ankle, yeah.
Bret Hart tap it out, brother. That was weird.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Is that the only time Bret Hart's ever tapped out? Probably not, but it's the only time I can think of.
I can't remember any other time.
Yeah.
At all. You know what I mean? That's crazy to think about. But this actually was a good match, and I'm going to have to take it. So the crowd was into this match. They were shocked by the ending. Not like your ending, but it was kind of like, this sucks. They were like, oh, shit, this actually fucking happened. He submitted. And I thought Lex Luger looked great here. I thought Bret Hart looked great. I'm like, fuck, man. And the crowd was great. I was entertained with this whole match. I was shocked. So if you agree, Alison, I think I'm going to have to take this one.
Yep, I'll agree.
Right. So we're moving on out. So, okay, so what do we got next for you?
All right. So I don't really have any story for why this happened. I think it happened because they needed these two guys on the pay-per-view. But my next match is Vader with Harley Race in his corner, who defeated the Guardian Angel. Now, do you know who the Guardian Angel is? Well, if you watch this show, you do. But for the people out there, the Guardian Angel was Ray Traylor, the Big Boss Man.
Okay, do you remember why he got, or do you remember the whole Guardian Angel, like, gimmick?
No. I remember the gimmick, but I don't know why he was that. Though.
Yeah, I remember this. I don't know why I remember this, but I remember this. So it's like a biker gang, right? It's a biker gang, okay? But it's we're going to help out the youth biker gang. Okay? That's what his character is.
So seeing this, I thought it was like based on that group in New York that was like when New York City was all crime ridden in the 80s and the 90s, early 90s, they had like that group that would go around and they were basically like trying to defend New Yorkers from getting like, you know, mugged and robbed and things. And they would basically wear these red outfits and they would go around and they would be, I think they were even called Guardian Angels. And they would go around New York and like they would like they were citizens that would intervene when crimes happened. So I thought that's what he was doing. But I don't know why he became that instead of Big Bubba.
Well, yeah, switch it up every once in a while, brother. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true. And I still don't understand why he's fighting Vader in this.
Well, it's a feud,
but
brother.
You know, it's two big guys. Of course it's a feud, but it's two big guys who, you know, might have a good match against each other, possibly. Which I thought this match was pretty good because I love Vader.
Yeah, me too.
Especially this time. Ray Traylor. Yes, I love Vader and I love Ray Traylor.
And this is when we saw Sting in the crowd, right?
Yes. So Sting comes out so I guess Sting is hurt, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And it's because he's not on the card. But Muhammad Ali is in the crowd, and he comes out to sit with Muhammad Ali to watch the main event.
Nice.
Which is going to be coming up in a couple of matches. So he comes out and he wants to sit with Muhammad Ali and his family to watch the main event. But yeah, he comes out and sits in the crowd during this. I actually cannot remember how this match ended. I somehow missed it in my notes.
I think Vader got I think he did the Vader bomb on him, the Vader splash, and he picked up the win that way.
It.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he won by the Vader Bomb. So Vader Bomb is a great finishing move, one of my favorites. Vader's one of my favorite wrestlers. Ray Traylor is one of my favorite wrestlers, he's one of those people that I really wish that I could have appreciated more when he was still alive.
Yeah.
I did not really appreciate him as much as until after he died. The Boss Man. He was really good. He was really good in the ring, especially after he started losing weight.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of overweight when he was Big Bubba. But when he became the Boss Man, he lost weight and got in better shape. I thought he was a great wrestler. I love this match. I mean, I thought it was good. I still think that I don't know. I mean, well, you haven't talked about yours yet.
And mine, you've already won.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that your match is that bad.
Do you know which match is coming up next?
Yeah. It's going to go against Goldberg and Sid.
No, that's not. No. We don't have that match yet, brother. Okay?
Okay.
I got Sting and Hulk Hogan, brother, coming up next.
That doesn't count, though.
How does that not count?
Because if that counts, then you have an extra match.
Okay, fine. Well, I guess we won't count that. Okay, well, okay. No,
I thought we would just talk about it as part of the show.
So am I counting? Am I counting the Sting Open Challenge then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be your main event, quote unquote, because it was the last match.
I got you. Okay, well, mine is just gonna be okay. Well, okay, yeah, you might lose this one then if we're not counting the.
Yeah, most likely.
Well,
which I never thought I would say about a Goldberg match, but I love Sid, and I actually like this match a lot. Your match.
Okay, so let me get there though, because it's gonna be a fucking paragraph long of me getting to this match. Okay.
So yeah, because we got to go over Sting and Hogan first, and so I'm guessing.
No. There's a lot more shit that happens before you even get to Sting and Hogan. Okay, brother. This is 1999 Nitro.
All right.
This is 1999 WCW, brother. We can't just go to a match here, brother. Okay, we don't just go to matches. We got to have 5 things to get there. Okay.
That's true. So
we have a Goldberg. We have a Goldberg promo talking about he's gonna kick Sid's ass, basically. He's going to finish the job. Then we have one of my favorite segments, has a 18 to 34 male. I love this segment. Mm-hmm. We have Medusa coming out with her bikini and her huge tits.
Yes.
And she was there in her USA bikini in October promoting the Nitro cologne.
So is this a real thing?
I don't know, but Tony Schiavone and fucking Bobby Heenan were burying this fucking cologne.
Hold on, I'm going to eBay while you're doing this to see if this is real.
Okay, so you look it up on eBay, and I'll explain to everybody about this. That a young James Kline was basically happy over this scene. So
I was older than you, and I was super into this. I have this weird thing for like American flag bikinis, though. I don't know why. It's like a weird kink or something that I have. I love American flag bikini. I think it's like, it's just this. I just have a thing.
So it was kind of random at this time. Like Medusa was like, she was known to be like, she was a Lunger Blaze. She was like the wrestler girl. You know what I mean? From like the 90s and everything. And then next thing you know, here we are, 1999. She's already been part of the Macho Man's group. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure she got like a boob job or something because these things were massive.
You think? Like she had to have gone in to her plastic surgeon and said, "I want the biggest tits that I can get," because they were gigantic, and it kind of sucks because you're right. She was the wrestler girl. She was the girl who was really good at what she did, and she didn't really need.
Like she came at the wrong era. She came in the wrong era. Let's just say she came in the wrong. If she came nowadays, she would be one of the top. She'd be like a Charlotte Flair. She'd be top wrestler.
Yeah, that's true. But I could see why she might feel like she needed to do that because she was definitely getting older.
Yeah,
she was like in her mid to late 30s at this point.
Well, that's the thing that was hot at the time. You had Sable. I mean, this was a ripoff from Sable, basically. I mean, that's so obvious.
That's true. I didn't think about that. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a rip-off of Sable. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because
right.
Sable's, when she started getting very popular, the first thing that she did, she came out with the little blow-up chair, and she started doing some strip dances on the fucking blow-up chair, and that's what pretty much made her like a sex symbol, was by doing that. And that's when they figured out, like, yeah, we can use this girl to be like a sex symbol. So now they're trying to do this. The powers that be, okay, are trying to use Medusa like a sex symbol to sell this cologne, even though they're burying the whole cologne. And then the gimmick is, though, Medusa doesn't like the powers to be, or the superpowers from New York. She thinks it's bullshit. Yeah. And then she pours the cologne on Bobby Heenan. And then Tommy Schiavone says, you stink like manure. So they're burying their own fucking cologne.
So I do have an update on the clone thing. It is real.
Oh, let's get, brother. We gotta buy that shit. Nitro
so you
cologne,
can buy
brother.
it. So you can buy some. You can buy a 1 ounce bottle, new in the box, never been opened, from 1999. Oh my God, this guy has multiples of them. 10 plus available. This got to be bootleg, right? This can't be real. Bro, anyway, it's $87.99 a bottle.
Damn it, 87. Fuck, bro.
Yeah, there's another listing where you can get. It says Nitro for Men fragrances. It comes with the Nitro cologne. It comes with a deodorant stick, aftershave cologne, and a deodorant stick. That's $300.
You can smell like, well, according to Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, we could smell like cow manure if we put that shit on. So why not, brother? Just get it.
You can, for $64.99 plus $5 shipping, you can buy a WCW, says vintage WCW Nitro Cologne T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
And it says the Nitro logo. It says Nitro for Men fragrances. So I guess it was a real thing you could buy.
Bro, it was a real thing, and they buried it. Like, this shit sucks. Like, imagine, like, I'm watching your show, and you're telling me your product sucks, and you want me to buy it. Okay?
Oh, here's another bottle. It's $100. Free shipping, though.
Oh, free shipping.
$279 for a 3 ounce bottle.
There you go, brother.
Like, who's buying this shit? Like, I want to write this guy and just say, has anybody ever bought this from you?
I kind of want to buy a bottle. I'm not going to lie.
It's probably like you. Like, people like you are like, I just want one.
Bro, they were burying the shit out of this fucking cologne. I'm just like, you know what? Like, I got to smell it for myself. It probably smells like fucking Axe or some shit like that.
Probably.
Some generic.
Probably.
Yeah, Calvin Kline shit or something. Okay. So then we get to this match that I can't count. It's a good thing, because this is very strange. Okay, so this is so there's a lot of strange things happening at this particular time. So number one is Sting is a heel.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. So someone asked me the other day if I remembered Sting having a heel turn and it not going well. And I did not remember that.
Yeah.
But when I watched this, I was like, oh, this is it. This is when Sting was a heel.
Yeah.
So Sting is a heel for some reason in this.
Because
I don't know.
We're trying to make him new,
him
like a new.
heel.
So in my recollection, Sting has only been a heel twice. Okay, it's this run in '99, which was a failure, even though he had one good match. The whole heel run had one good match, and that match was on Nitro when he lost the belt to DDP, and then he won it back from DDP the same night. That was like his only good like match of a heel run at this time. It just didn't work, Sting. I mean, fuck, bro. We talk about Sting on the Retro Blood. We talk about Sting all the time. This guy is a born natural babyface. Even when he was doing the whole Crow gimmick, people loved this guy. You don't want to boo him.
Yeah,
The other time the other time he was a heel was like maybe for a couple months when he was in the main event Mafia in TNA. And that was it.
Okay, true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that was a heel stable that he was in. Yeah. So true.
So at this time, Hulk Hogan is not the Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He's the WCW Real American Man. He reverted back to that character. He reverted back to the old red and white trunk wearing Hulk Hogan at this time, and he's gonna have a proper match with Sting. This time they're gonna do their feud from '97. They're doing it right now, and its roles are reversed. Hulk Hogan's the hero, Sting's the villain. And so this is just strange. So Honko's coming for the belt, very 80s, you know what I mean? Coming for the belt, brother, gonna beat you. We start the match. We hear Hogan's music. Great. I always loved his WCW theme. You know, he's got the red, white, and blue running through his veins. Dun, 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 dun. He was born and raised in the USA. I actually like. Okay, on this mic, I hate for this, but I like this one more than Real American.
No. Real American's awesome.
Bro, I love.
I do like this music, but I'm a Real American. Brother. It's a great song. Yeah.
So we hear it doesn't come out.
Yeah. Right.
Then Sting comes out looking all depressed. It looked like he was going to fight Jeff Hardy again. Okay. That's why I said it, brother.
I can't believe you went there.
Fucking comes out there, and then next thing we know, we see Hulk Hogan in his street gear.
Yeah.
And he fucking comes
also
in there,
looking depressed.
Also looking depressed, lays down, and that's it. So I'm like super confused here. So,
and also the bell never rings.
I don't know. No, they had to ring because they fucking did the 3 count. So
yeah, they did a 3 count, but I don't think the bell rang. But so I don't know why this happened. I don't think I knew why this happened then, and I don't know the backstory behind it now. I'm guessing that Russo and Hogan were in an argument, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Well, they didn't. Okay, so what? Okay, there's 2 explanations of this. There's storyline explanation. There's what really happened. Okay, here, if I can remember. So the storyline was that the powers that be were too much for Hogan, so he wanted to lay down and he wanted to get away for a little bit.
Okay.
The explanation was Hogan had some off time from WCW, and he wanted to take the off time, but he didn't want to lose on the way out because it's Hulk Hogan, brother. So they came up with this idea of him laying down, and then he would later return to get his revenge on Sting and the powers that be when he was just going to be himself, Terry Bollea. But by the time that he got back to WCW, Vince Russo was already out. Okay? So the idea was that the powers that be made him do what he did. Okay? And he was going to come back for revenge on the powers that be, has Terry Bollea, not Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, okay? Because you remember when he came back in 2000, he was having that, he was kind of like in street gear, fighting Kidman for some reason. And he was supposed to be like just him. He was supposed to be like this whole new character, this whole new, just like, I'm Terry Bollea. I'm just like, it's kind of like, wrestlers do that. Like, I have Adam Copeland now. He's like Adam Copeland. Like, I'm not that character. I'm really me now. And I'm really mad at Vince Russo for writing me to lay down the Sting. So that was the whole thing they were trying to come up with. I mean, it's stupid. Okay, we don't give a fuck about, you know what I mean? So it's trying to be like.
But Russo came back though.
Yeah, he did come back later on, but then he came back.
And that's when they had the bash at the beach.
Yes, that's when they had. Yes, exactly. So basically if I can remember, they gave Russo I think it was only 3 months. He was writing shit, and then they okay, you got to get out of here. Then I think they gave for a short period of time. They gave the book of everything to Kevin Sullivan, and then Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo came back to work together. And then when they came back to work together, that's when the whole bash of the beach shit happened later on in 2000.
Yeah, right. So so in when was Mayhem? Was that
the next
January
pay-per-view?
2000?
No. Mayhem is the next pay-per-view after this one.
Okay, all right. I thought it was later in the winter, but maybe you're right. So Mayhem was when they did the tournament, right?
The tournament, yes.
Yeah, so Vince Russo was writing that. So so I remember this now. So I remember when this happened now. So we were excited about Vince Russo and Ferrara getting there. But it seemed like when this show happened, they were still dealing with old storylines.
Yes.
And Mayhem was the first, or the day after this show was the first time they were creating everything on their own. And then when we got to Mayhem, I was like, this is going to get really good because Mayhem is still one of my favorite pay-per-views. That tournament's great.
Yeah.
The way it ends is great.
And the winner was
maybe
great
one day
too.
we'll talk about it. And the winner was great too. That whole thing was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the end.
WCW. Yeah, I was going to say WCW was going to take off. Little did I know what was going to happen in the next 2 months. But yeah, so basically, This was an advertised match. Like we were expecting.
This is
to
one of
see
the
Sting
top
Hulk
matches.
Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after this happened,
and we didn't get this.
Yeah, after this happened, Sting pins him, and then they just cut to a Sting Goldberg Sid promo, and the fans just booed. Like you could hear it over the fucking promo. They're just booing fucking to death.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed off too, brother. I mean, this is a high fucking match, and you just fucking lay down like a little bitch. Like, what the fuck? And this is the second laydown we've had this year. We had the fucking finger poke of doom, okay?
Yeah.
And now we got this bullshit, okay? Like, fuck.
I'm guessing that what they thought would happen was they were getting the DDP Ric Flair match that wasn't advertised. So they were thinking, well, we'll have this, but we'll have this shit and people hate it, but we'll make up for it by giving them this extra match that they didn't think they were going to get.
Yeah.
That's my guess as to what they were thinking to justify
now
this.
should I have a negative point for this bullshit that we had to go through?
I don't think we should hold that against you personally, because this is not your fault.
Well, anyway, the match that we did got to go against yours was a great fucking match. It was for the WCW United States Championship match, and this probably was the best match on the show because it was it's fucking. I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I was watching this match. It was pretty fucking crazy. So we have Goldberg coming out, and he gets attacked during his entrance from Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, because Scott Hall and Kevin Nash at this time was doing like the outsider gimmick. Like they kept saying they want to get the band back together, which we all know that means the NWO, which they would later do. Get the short-lived NWO Gray that would come out, or Silver.
I think it was Silver. NWO was Silver.
Which I thought could have been a great idea, but it just didn't work out that well.
I loved it.
I thought there was a good group too. You know, when with Bret Hart,
they had great members.
You know, Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, the outsiders. I mean, and that's what they should have done. A elite group. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Don't put all this bullshit in there. Just one elite group, but it just didn't work out. So. But Sid starts bleeding quickly in this match, and these guys are humongous, brother. I was like, holy shit. These guys are like fucking Bro, Sid, he's basically Frankenstein. I mean, don't tell me it's not, because this guy is fucking mungus, okay? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fuck, that guy was humongous.
The thing about Sid that always struck me was that he was super tall and super jacked, which is rare. Yeah, Goldberg. You don't really have that. But he's also jacked only from the waist up, though. He still has skinny little legs, which will come back to haunt him in a couple of years or a year or so. But yeah, you could tell that he mostly works out his upper body. But yeah, he's super jacked and super tall. He is basically Frankenstein. You were right.
So the interesting part about this match that when I was watching it is how like brutal Goldberg is in this match.
Yeah,
he's beating the shit out of this guy. Like
this first Goldberg match I ever saw that I liked.
I know. Like I was like, because usually Goldberg matches are okay. We got him maybe selling for a little bit. We got a spear, jackhammer. Let's go to the back. Okay. And, of course, he did have that good one with DDP that we talked about last year with the Halloween Havoc. I would say that's probably still the best Goldberg match. It's still the one with DDP. But this one was pretty... Like, he must be Mr. like Halloween Havoc or something, because his best matches are at Halloween Havoc, apparently. Because he was beating the shit out of Sid. They were going back and forth, and he is just brutal. Like, I thought he was like a heel in this match. He was so fucking brutal. Okay? Mm-hmm. So he eventually beats Sid's ass so much that the referee had to stop it because Sid is just bleeding
because of blood.
Blood everywhere, bro. Goldberg had blood on him. Sid had blood all over him. I was like, fuck, bro. I haven't seen this bloodbath in a while. And then, like, Rick Steiner comes in. He tries to stop Sid from fighting some more with Goldberg because they're at a blood feud. And they eventually get Sid to go to the back. And I was just thinking, like, man, is Sid turning babyface? Because he basically was. And then Goldberg wins the belt from this, so. I don't know, man. Crowd loved this match. I loved this match. I was super entertained. And, yeah, I might have to take you on this one, brother.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that. Like, I think that I'll leave my argument for the next match that we're going to do. But I think that I think you can win this. I can't argue with this. This is your point.
All right, man. What do we got up next for you?
All right. So again, we don't have as much storyline in my show. So basically, we go right into the next match. So the next match that I have on my card, and I love this match. You probably didn't like it as much as I did, but it's the Nasty Boys, the real Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags, who took on Terry Funk and Buckhouse Buck, who apparently they were also in that group with Colonel Robert Parker and Ming, because they came out with them. So you got Terry Funk, anything with Terry Funk in it's fantastic. And I didn't hate the Nasty Boys. I think they're good in this tag. They're decent in this tag match.
Bro, Terry Funk was fantastic in this match.
Yeah, he's fantastic in everything he does. But basically, I thought the match was great. They went back and forth. The crowd liked it. It had some hardcore stuff in it. But the Nasty Boys ended up winning because Ming accidentally hit Terry Funk. And then Jerry Sags pile drives Terry Funk on top of a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, pumpkin, yeah. I thought that was great too.
Oh, or on top of a pumpkin, yeah. And then that was the end of that.
So hold on, before you go, I gotta say something about our boy Bunkhouse.
Bunkhouse, yes.
So when I was watching this match, I was like, who the fuck is this Bunkhouse guy? I never heard about this guy before, and he's in a fucking tag team with Terry Funk. He must be cool as shit. So, you know who he later became?
Jack Swagger Sr.
Fucking Jack Swagger's father.
Yep.
I was like, how random is that shit?
When they were doing that Jack Swagger thing, I don't know how that they did that, how they decided on those people, but they got Bunkhouse Buck to play his dad. Mm-hmm. And then they got Dutch Mantel to play his manager.
Yeah.
So
I guess Jack, he would have fit in the stud stable, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he would definitely fit in the stud stable. Jack Swagger, I think, would have been a huge star if he were in WCW during this time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Instead of when he was in WWE.
Yeah.
I think that he's in the AEW, I think he's good. I like how I like his humor, especially around the time they're doing the Inner Circle and he never spoke. I think that shit was hilarious. Yeah. And then the whole thing about the pink hat, I don't know. I just think it's funny. I think he's a very funny person with how dry his humor is. But yeah, so Buckhouse Buck became Jack Swagger's dad. He was Robert Fuller's cousin. He's one of the Fullers.
Yeah, Fullers. Yeah.
So he came from that Fuller wrestling family.
But Terry Funk definitely was the standout in this match. This guy was
he was.
And can you believe it? He didn't even have his ECW run yet, and he's still that hadn't
even started yet.
Crazy, man. This guy is insane. Okay,
and he was 50 years old.
It's crazy. What the fuck?
Yes.
So
he turned 50 in that summer.
So of course, I got a bunch of shit leads up to my match, of course.
Yeah.
So we have,
your story.
So we see after the Goldberg beatdown shit, we see the we actually see the Kimberly Page and Ric Flair scene from the hotel. Okay. Yes. I thought it was a lot. This was a fun scene. Of her dressing up in a hot outfit and shit, putting the little thing in the drink, and Ric Flair coming out here strutting, saying you're gonna be riding Space Mountain. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah. And he says, he's like, Flair's like, the boy couldn't make it, all right, but don't worry about Space Mountain's here. All right. So then we hear Sting's music. Yes. All right, everybody's all confused and shit. He comes out with the world belt. And then Sting basically babyfaced himself. Okay, he said, I didn't come out here for Las Vegas for a night off. I want to fight. So I'm going to challenge anyone from the back later. So I'm going to come back later and I'm going to challenge somebody for a fight. Okay? And remember, he never said anything about a world title fight, by the way. So, right. So the next match we have is DDP versus Ric Flair in a strap match. Okay? Mm-hmm. So this match is it's different than a normal strap match because a normal strap match, you had to hit all four corners, right? Something like that.
But they'd long given up on that shit.
Yeah, so this one was a pinfall or submission. Okay?
Yeah.
So they're fighting.
By 1995, that's what a strap match was.
Yeah. So they're fighting out in the crowd. They're fighting out in the fucking around everywhere. Flair kisses Kimberly now. All right, this is a pretty good match. They're going back and forth. And then eventually, DDP Diamond Cutters. It's kind of a weird matchup here because basically it's a good match and everything. And then Charles Robertson like messes up like the count, or it looks like he messed up the count or something. And then DDP Diamond Cutters Flair picks up the win. And DDP Diamond Cutters Juice Robertson. All right. And then David comes out with...
Charles Robinson.
Yeah. Little Nature's in here, boy, too. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you said Juice Robinson.
Oh, I did? My bad.
Yeah.
I meant to say Charles Robinson. Sorry.
Charles Robinson. Yeah, Little Nate. Yeah.
Little Nature's here because, at this time, he was Little Nate. Like, he's already done the whole run with Ric Flair being, like, his fan and everything. And I guess, like, the count was supposed to be messed up because, it's Charles Robinson. So DDP, like, he basically diamond cuttered Charles Robinson after that. All right. And then we have David Flair coming out with the crowbar. And then Kimberly eventually gets it from him. And then DDP beats his ass too. And then they're beating up both Flair and David. And then they're going. So Flair eventually, after all this, he gets like stretchered out. Okay. Because basically DDP beat his ass so bad with the crowbar and everything that he took from David that he's getting stretchered out, and then he was getting stretchered to the hospital. And then when the filthy animals came back in the ambulance, okay, and it was all a swerve. Another swerve like that, and it's another swerve of Conan faking his shoulder injury, and then they beat up Ric Flair and they step him into the ambulance. And I'm pretty sure this is when we're going to get him being thrown in the desert. Yes. That is the lead up to him being buried in the desert and then later coming back in the insane asylum.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember any of that shit, brother?
No.
Oh, my God. Okay, here's what happened, Allison. I got to tell you, okay? So, you remember we were saying about Sting and they're trying to, like, redo everything?
Yeah.
So, one of the things they wanted to redo was Flair. And the powers from New York, okay, their idea was, okay, well, we're going to have the filthy animals beat up Ric Flair. We're going to bury his ass in the desert. And then he's going to come back after some time off TV to be a big, huge star because he'd be refreshed. And boy, did not work out like that at all. They fucking buried his ass, and next thing you know, you see him in a fucking... Actually, the insane asylum might have happened before this. I can't remember. Now that you mention it. So there was a point where I think it might have been because of this insane asylum stuff that they buried Flair in the desert. But basically the whole point of that Vince was saying he was trying to refresh the Ric Flair character by burying him in the desert and coming back being strong. But it just didn't work out because it was stupid. So, this is a tough one though because I don't know, man.
Terry Funk. It forces you to fight. It forces you to vote against Terry Funk if you pick your match.
That's true.
Your match is good though.
Yeah, it was good. Like DDP as a heel was good. The strap match was actually pretty entertaining. Like I don't think Ric Flair actually needed to be written off TV for a refresh. I thought he was fucking fine. I didn't know he was entertaining. It was like one of the best things on the show.
I am not a huge fan of strap matches. And the reason I don't like them is because I feel like it creates extra work for the people in it, and the strap always gets caught on shit. And they just can't, they're not free. It's free to move around and do stuff. It always gets caught on the turnbuckles, and if they go in the crowd, it gets caught on chairs and all kinds of shit like that. And it's always awkward. I'm not a huge fan of them. Yeah. Although I like them a little better with the pinfall than I do when you have to go around and touch all four corners. That's kind of dumb too. I've never been a fan of strap matches. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to decide this one because
I don't know, man.
It's tough. Your match was good. My match had Terry Funk in it. I'm sure that you would probably say the fact that the Nasty Boys are in this match would send your match over mine. But then Terry Funk got he got pile drived onto a pumpkin for the finish. So I don't know about this one. I don't know, man.
Boy, should we do a tie or no tie?
We could set it aside and see what we get for our final matches.
Oh, come on now. We already know your fucking match is going to win.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Our
I don't
fucking
know.
final match.
I don't know how my. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that final match was fucking fantastic. All right, let's call it a tie. We'll call it a tie.
Okay, so we got a tie there. All right, so let's hear about your final match on the show.
All right, my final match. So I actually have story now. So there's actually storyline for this. So this was in a steel cage. So Hogan had like a little stable kind of fans. One of them was Brutus Beefcake, who he called Brother Brutai for some reason. And then he had Dave, the dyslexic Dave, as one of his fans too. And then he was there. So Mr. T was going to be the referee. So that goes back to WrestleMania 1, right? So Mr. T was Hogan's tag team partner for WrestleMania 1. So is Mr. T going to be on the side of Hogan? But right before this in Chicago, Mr. T was seen coming out of a restaurant with Ric Flair. So maybe he's on Ric Flair's side. Is he going to be impartial? Who knows? But this is career versus career. So whoever loses this is done. Their career will be over. If Ric Flair loses, we will never see him again, ever. In 1994, he will disappear and never be back. And he's in his little stable. He's got Sensuous Sherry. So Sherry Martel is on his side, and it's like super crazy Sherry. So she's like, she got the big butterfly makeup on her face and the big poofy hair. And this is going to turn out to be, like I said, in a steel cage, career versus career. There is also a side story of Hogan getting attacked by a masked man. And this has been going on for a while, apparently. And he keeps getting attacked by a man in a black suit with a black ski mask. And that's what leads us up to this match. And there's some storyline after the match as well, which we can talk about, and some things that will happen. So I don't know what I can say other than this match was fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it was 19 minutes long. Flair actually wrestled. Hogan actually wrestled in it. One thing I thought was unique or interesting was that as much hoo-ha as we have about intergender wrestling, and some people hate it and some people like it, and Jim Cornette hates it because that's not how wrestling used to be, and he talks about how like that's not realistic and it would never have happened in his day. Well, there's quite a bit of intergender wrestling in this match. I mean, Hogan like clotheslines Sherry and he body slams her several times. So I'm trying to remember. There was a lot of chaos in this match. So basically, Sherry tries to climb the cage to hand Flair the title so he can hit Hogan with it and win. But Jimmy Hart, who was, Hogan's ally, because he actually had Hogan's face painted on his jacket during this match, comes running out and he tries to pull her off the cage, but he pulls her skirt off. So we get to see her ass as she's hanging on the edge of the cage. She is hanging on the cage. He pulls her skirt off, but she's still there. Sting jumps the guardrail to come help stop Sherry from getting in the ring. But then, if I remember correctly in my notes, the masked man comes from under the ring, and I thought this was weird too because of who it turns out to be. But he comes out from underneath the ring, and Tony Schiavone specifically says, "I didn't see him come from anywhere else. He must have been there all night." So anyway, so he runs up and attacks Sting, which lets Sherry get into the ring. And then Flair handcuffs Mr. T to the ropes. And then they fight back and forth for a minute. That's when all the he clotheslines Flair and Sherry at the same time, and then body slams Sherry a few times. And then he gets the leg drop on Ric Flair, and then he gets Mr. T over where Mr. T is, and he motions Mr. T to do the 3 count. Yep. He reaches over 1, 2, 3. The match is over. Ric Flair's career is done. Hogan is celebrating. But then the masked man gets in the ring and attacks Hogan. And he stands there long enough for Hogan to turn around. So Hogan's doing his Hogan flexing in the ring for what seems like forever. And the masked man is standing there with a stick or a pipe or whatever it is. And he's going to hit him. And I don't know why he doesn't just hit him in the back of the head or whatever. But he waits for Hogan to turn around. And then Hogan blocks the pipe, beats up the masked man. And then he asks the crowd if he wants him to unmask the masked man. He pulls the mask off. But he doesn't look at him. This is the part that I thought was the funniest. He pulls the mask off, and then he celebrates with the crowd that he pulled the mask off by holding the mask up. And then the crowd's all shocked at who it is. He turns around, and it's Brother Brutai.
Brother Brutai, brother, turns heel on the Hulkster, brother, after all this time.
So now with that, do you think that when they were writing this, if they were thinking of the Shakespeare play Julius Caesar?
I mean, probably. With the brother turning his back on him.
Right, because Brutus was the guy that stabbed Caesar. He was Caesar's biggest ally, and he was the one that stabbed Caesar and got the killing blow on Caesar. Although he doesn't kill Hogan, obviously. Hogan beats Brutus in this case. But he turns on that. He turns on Hogan. He's a heel. Kevin Sullivan runs out. Avalanche comes out. I always loved Avalanche. This is the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, of the Dungeon of Doom.
Yes.
Because Brutus Beefcake would become another character. He would become Zodiac. But before that, I believe he had another character too. I'm trying to think of what it was called. Because weren't they were going to be Kevin Sullivan, Avalanche, and the Butcher. He became the Butcher.
Well, we had
and they
Zodiac.
were the Faces of Fear, right? And then he became Zodiac when they became the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah.
And that's when he had the face paint.
And they
love Zodiac.
And the Yeti.
Oh yeah, the Yeti.
Uh-huh.
The Yeti. So the crowd obviously was fucking insane. I mean, they were just screaming. They were screaming at the top of their lungs. This could not have been more over. Yeah. This match was good. Flair versus Hogan, like they always say, Flair can get a good match out of anybody. And, he could wrestle a broomstick and have a good match. He proved it with this. He got the best out of Hogan. You got to see Sherry Martel's butt. You got Sting running in to make the save from the Dungeon of Doom. You got Sting and Hogan at the end, standing tallish. Hogan's kind of beat up. And then it goes off the air with Ric Flair's career over. It's amazing. So what do you got to go against that?
Okay. So the battle that I have to go against one of your legendary cage matches where you have all types of celebrities out there like Muhammad Ali, a couple football player guys, Sting's in there. We got Sherry's ass. Ali. Mr. T's up in there, brother. You know, I have a impromptu challenge because Hogan was too big to do the job, brother. We have Sting coming out for an open challenge, but nobody can figure out if it's for the world belt or not. So we can't figure this. He never said it was for the world belt. Now they're saying it's for the world belt. We can't figure it out if it's for the world belt. But who's going to challenge him? Who is it? Oh, it's Goldberg. He's back, brother.
Of course it is. Who else could it be?
So then Tony says on commentary, yeah, this is non-title match. And then out the arena, like, yeah, this is the title match. He's like, okay, well, maybe we're a minute. So this is a fast-paced match, kind of like one of those Brock Lesnar matches you used to have. It was like 6 minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
All big moves. Then we get a spear, jackhammer, and then Goldberg wins.
So I have a question about this, and I meant to ask it the last time. So Sting's music, the one we watched on the Peacock, is that the actual music he was using at this time?
No.
He hadn't started coming out to Seek and Destroy yet,
No,
right?
he should have been, I'm pretty sure. I can't say for sure, but I know he was definitely probably using Seeker and Destroy right now. Like, he had to be.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I just can't remember if he used it for his heel run or not. All right. But no, it was not the right music.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, but he was definitely using Seek and Destroy.
Okay.
Wasn't it the it wasn't it wasn't even the Metallica version either. It was like I think it was the Megadeth version.
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah, it was like some other version. They didn't use the Metallica one, but
So also what happens is Charles gives Charles is back. He's okay. He gives the belt to the winner, new heavyweight champion, and then the people on the commentary confused, and then Sting just goes to him and death drops him.
Yeah, so everybody seemed to be confused because they clearly say it's a non-title match, and Sting never says anything about the title.
Yeah.
But at the end of the match, they give it to Goldberg, and now he has 2 titles.
Yeah.
He has the World Heavyweight title and the United States Heavyweight title.
So basically what happens is the next night on Nitro, Sting comes out saying, I never said it was for the belt. All right.
Yeah.
And then we had J.J. Dillon come out there. It's like, well, you put your hands on the referee, so we're actually going to strip your ass of the belt. We're going to create a tournament. And that's when we get to the tournament that goes all the way to Mayhem. And, of course, that tournament is won by a good babyface, Bret Hart.
So, right. So, wait a minute. So, even though they gave the title to Goldberg, Sting had it on the next night on Nitro?
No. It was they didn't have it at all. Like they had to give up the belt. Like the match, the match never happened, and Sting is not going to get rewarded the belt because he put his hands on the referee. So that they just put the belt up for grabs.
Oh, okay, all right. So as I say, why were they punishing Goldberg for Sting putting his hands on the referee? But so they that's why they end up having that tournament. Okay.
Yeah, because the match was never assigned for the belt, so that's why Goldberg got it taken away, and Sting didn't get awarded the belt back because he put his hands on the referee. So.
Yeah, and it would, and then the next match, the Mayhem, the final match of that was Benoit and Bret Hart, right?
Yeah, for the belt.
Two faces. Yeah, and then so it was face Bret Hart, and then right after that, Bret Hart would turn heel again as the leader of the NWO Silver.
Yes.
Until Goldberg ends his career, which would happen maybe three weeks later. Maybe
no. That doesn't happen until the next year. Starrcade 2000.
Is it
Starrcade
that long?
Yeah, because you forgot because so they were probably gonna do that match earlier. But the thing is, they did that angle where the NWO Silver was attacking Goldberg, and Goldberg fucking bashed his own hand into the fucking window, and he fucking tore his ligaments.
I do remember
and
that.
He was out.
I do remember that.
And that's basically what killed the NWO because they were there to they were basically there to be heaters on Goldberg to lead to Goldberg versus Bret Hart because. The story the story was Bret Hart was a babyface, Goldberg was a babyface, and they actually won the tag belts together. Okay, it was one of those things, and Bret Hart won the belt, and then they did like I think they might have did a match together, but then Bret Hart turned on Goldberg, and then that's when that Bret Hart joined the NWO Silver, and the whole storyline was going to be Goldberg has the Steve Austin fighting the evil corporation of the NWO Silver. Because Vince Russo has to recycle shit he's already done. But the problem is Goldberg couldn't use a bat to break a window. He had to use his manly fist. And that apparently didn't work out that well.
Yeah, it doesn't usually. So basically the NWO Silver fell apart long before this Goldberg-Bret Hart match actually happened.
Yes.
Because I remember it was cool for a little bit. And then all of a sudden it just kind of faded away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, because it would have been over by the Bash at the Beach.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been a year past that anyway. That had been the next summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been right. That would have been the summer of 2000. So it was well over by then. Because it must have started in, say, January or February, and it was probably over by like April or March or April or something.
Yeah, let me see. So maybe Bret Hart did face Goldberg at the 1999 Starrcade. Maybe I'm getting my my timeline wrong on here. Let me see. When did Goldberg break his arm? Let's see.
Yeah, according to this, Starrcade 99 is when he suffered the concussion.
Okay.
That would ultimately end his career.
Okay, so it was then. Okay, so I might have some things right and some things backwards. So Bill Goldberg's arm injuries. Let's see. So he almost lost the arm, but when was it? Let's see. Okay, so okay. So I got some of it right, but I got the Starrcade part wrong. So basically, that match did happen at Starrcade 1999 of Goldberg versus Bret Hart, which Goldberg kicked him in the head, and obviously, would lead to Bret Hart's career being down. But also on that same month, Goldberg injured his arm by doing that angle by him hitting the glass with his arm. So it all actually happened on the same month. I thought it happened like the whole year, but no. But basically what happened was the NWO Silver, they were there to be the big heaters for Goldberg. And at that Starrcade that happened in '99, Bret Hart actually won the match by submission. And Goldberg was trying to get some revenge, so they're doing an angle on Thunder. And then Goldberg was supposed to break the car windows with the bat, but he didn't have the bat, so he used his arm. And then he became injured, and then Bret Hart became injured, and that's how the whole NWO Silver basically disbanded, because they didn't have their two top people that was supposed to be feuding and in the group out, so they just got rid of it. So that makes sense.
Yeah, that does all make sense. You're right.
All right, so let's talk about the winners over here, brother. Let's see what we got here.
Let's find out.
Who won the 2023 battle of the Halloween Havocs, brother? So let me tally some stuff up. So at the first match, when we had Disco Inferno versus Lash LaRue versus yours, what was it? Booker T versus Armstrong. So we gave each other half a point. So we all have half a point right now. Okay.
Okay.
So the number 2 match we have is I had the tag team championship match. Okay.
Yeah.
With the 3-way. And then which one did you have?
Johnny B. Bad versus Honky Tonk Man.
True. So I believe I won that one. Okay. So I basically have 1 point for myself. Okay.
Okay.
So, because the other tie ones kind of like take each other out. Then we have Saturn versus Eddie Guerrero. Okay. Versus yours.
Pretty Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Pretty Paul Roma.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure
versus Stars and Stripes.
So we gave that one to you, brother. Stars and Stripes taking it all away. And then, of course, we had the roughest matches on the night. Mine was Brad Armstrong versus Alex Wright. And yours is David Sullivan versus Kevin Sullivan, which I'm pretty sure we gave that to you. So you got 2 on there. And then now we have the TV title match. I had Chris Benoit versus Rick Steiner. And what was yours?
Dustin Rhodes versus Arn Anderson.
Which one did we? I think we gave each other a half on this one, didn't we, too, huh?
Maybe. I know we gave ourselves a half on one of them, but I'm not sure which one it was.
Yeah. So with this one, I believe we gave, because these ones matches were pretty much the same, so we gave each other a halves on both, so they eliminated each other. So now we had, mine was Lex Luger versus Bret Hart. All right, with this great match versus yours.
Jim Duggan versus Steve Austin.
Of course, we gave mine to Lex Luger. All right, taking the win, brother versus Bret Hart, brother. Good match. Probably one of the best matches on the show. We skipped Sting versus Hulk Hogan. And then I had Sid versus Goldberg going against yours.
Vader versus Guardian Angel.
Yep. Unfortunately, we had to give the gold Sid and Goldberg the win on that one. All right. Then we had the strap match, brother. DDP versus Ric Flair. And then yours had
Nasty Boys versus Terry Funk and Buckhouse Buck.
Yes. And which one did we give it to?
I thought you were writing it down. I can't really remember. I think that we gave it to me because of the ending of my match.
That's right. Yes, yours had a better ending on it. So now we're tied, brother. 3-3. And, of course, the main event is the thing that took it over. You had the classic Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair in the cage, brother. Great main event, great drama, great turn, great swerves, great everything. And I had Sting coming out for a random open challenge. Okay. So I now officially got defeated by 1 point, and you have won the battle of the Halloween Havocs 2023. 1994 Halloween Havoc has taken it all the way for the Lights Out podcast, brother. I got the fucking powers that be from New York screwed me over, brother.
Yep, they did.
They didn't write me a good script. They didn't write me a good story, brother.
No, they booked some shit for you. So the first annual one was a draw, a tie. Second one I won, so I'm going to challenge you a year from now. Let's meet right back here. Let's have the same match again. What do you think?
Let's do it, brother. I can't wait. I love talking about these Halloween Havoc battles, brother. Good stuff. So, but everybody,
so it would be the brawl to settle it all.
The brawl to settle it. Oh, that's right. Well, let's see. We have a tie, This is so we have a tie and you won one. So I got to come back for revenge, brother. Okay, I gotta be
you
like
gotta win. You gotta win.
Yeah, I gotta be like our fucking I gotta be like Ric Flair over here. I gotta come back for my big victory after getting screwed over by the powers from New York. All right, fuck. But everybody, hope you all enjoyed this special Lights Out Halloween edition, talking all about the Halloween Havocs. We love doing these battle shows. They're very fun. So, but everybody, join us. We have a shit ton of stuff going on in October. You know, if you guys are checking out the Retro Blood, we did Halloween 5 through 8. Plus, we had a very special Halloween episode that's dropping this October 29th on the Retro Blood. They're very good Halloween episode, which I'm pretty sure they already explained what that was going to be. It's going to be for the Retro Blood Halloween edition. It's going to be Night of the Demons.
Night of the Demons. What a classic.
Fucking classic, brother. I can't wait to talk about that on the main show, Retro Blood. That is going to be a party. Okay. I'm going to fucking party as hard as fucking the filthy animals do. All right, brother. I'm going to bring my camcorder. I'm going to bring my Tory Rilson. I'm going to bring my beer. I'm going to bring that stupid cologne and Medusa's tits, brother. We're going to be partying. It's going to be great. All right. And of course, Lights Out will be back, brother. You thought you were going to get one? No, you're going to get two. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we are coming back on Halloween. Okay? The 31st, brother. And me and the Alison are going to talk all about Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, what could be more appropriate, right? The end of our second season, we're doing the Jason movies. We started off Retro Blood, Freddy movies.
Yeah.
So now we're doing Freddy and Jason together.
Boom. And of course, we'll give you all the schedule for November. But everybody,
let's go.
Thanks for joining us here on the Battle of the Halloween Havocs. Congratulations to Alison winning one this time. He's the champion. He's going to hold that championship for a whole year until I come back for my revenge, brother. But we will check you all back here on Halloween, brother, for Freddy versus Jason. See y'all later.
See you guys.